in the shops at East Chase. Now hiring.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's Conversational Radio Show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome into the program. Thank God for another beautiful day. And you might be saying, wait, it's storming outside. We got a tropical storm rolling through the southeast causing all sorts of flooding. Hey, just because it's raining, just because it's storming, doesn't mean it's not a beautiful day. Come on, y'all. So thank God for another beautiful day. Hopefully it'll be a beautiful show or something like that. And Montgomery needs a new mayor. I'm your host, Joey Clark. And Eddie Bader's off today. He had to go and run and do something. We might have a special appearance by the one, the only Rich Thomas, because the storms are going to be rolling through as this show is ongoing. Tropical storm is heading our way. And let's talk to Erica Thomas of 1819 News to kick things off. Hey, Erica, how are you doing?
Howdy, Joey. I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm all right. Did you survive the storm, or is it anywhere near you yet?
Yeah, well, so we have been watching this, for the last couple of days, knowing it was going to be down here, and we were already so saturated with all the rainfall we've had in the last week. I was really concerned about flooding. As far as I'm concerned, in South Baldwin County, right now my yard is just, it's covered. We are seeing a little bit of, not too bad of flooding, but some flooding. I'm going to drive around in a little bit and see what's going on over in Gulf Shores and Orange Beach. But I do want to tell you, last night I went on a late night fishing trip, and I was so happy. I've been trying to do this, and we had to kind of do it, in between the storms and the new storm coming through. And wow, there was some great fishing over in Orange Beach, and so I was so excited to do that. I know I talk about fishing a lot, but I've always been a freshwater fisher, and this is, more saltwater, some brackish water, but cool. Down here it's just totally different. I've been super intimidated by everything, and so I've been watching this guy on YouTube. His name's Bama Saltwater, and I just found out that tomorrow at J&M Tackle over in Orange Beach, he will be there for a meet and greet from like 10 to noon. So I'm so excited to go do that and go meet him. Yeah, and I suppose the storms stirred up all the fish. And, my dad lives down that way and loves to get out there on the water and go fishing. What else did you catch? I caught 12 speckled trout. I think that's what it was, speckled trout. Because like I said, I'm new to this. These things have teeth, but I got 2 of them off the hook myself. So, and without any protective gear. So I'm heading in the right direction. But I'm telling you, it is a whole different world. I did bass fishing my whole life, crappie, brim, bass, and just loved doing tournaments with my dad growing up over on Lake Wedowee and just lakes all over. But this saltwater business is no joke. It is a whole different ball game.
Well, and somebody's going to get you to go do deep sea fishing here soon, probably.
Yeah, I did that when I was a kid, and my cousin came last weekend for his graduation trip and went deep sea fishing, and they had a good time, but he got seasick. So I'll be sure if I ever do that, I'll be sure to do some Dramamine.
Yeah, I've gone and I've gotten sick before, and I've gone and I've not gotten sick. You just never know. But It's a good time, even if you don't catch that much. It's fun to just get out there into God's creation. And there's something in particular, like the last time I was on the water with my dad, we just went to a restaurant, and it's faster by boat to go over to Orange Beach where he's at. And we just stopped kind of in the middle of the bay, shut off the lights. And there's something about the power of the ocean, especially under the night sky. It's hard to even put into words, but you see why so many myths, as well as the Bible itself, talks about sort of water being the depths of creation. And it's just something to be on.
It really is. And my dad always said it too, you know, even on Lake Wedowee, not even this big body of water, but on Lake Wedowee, you know, you just can't be out there and think that there's not a God. I mean, everything's so perfect and beautiful the way he made it. And it just makes you so thankful. And I actually said last night, you know, in a boat, like going by all these beautiful homes, I was like, how could anybody be miserable living here? You know, just go outside, look around, and be thankful for not even the big houses, but just what God built, you know, what he made. I mean, there's something to be said about that. If you go out there and you don't feel something, I'm going to pray real hard for you, because it is such a joy to have when you realize, you know, you're just such a small piece of what God's made in his creation.
Yeah, and heck, if you don't feel anything, you should pray all the same, probably more so. Like, if you don't play with the power of, in particular, the ocean. But I want to start now, and it is a water story. This is not the ocean, but state parks, second drowning at Oak Mountain State Park this year, and the folks at state parks are not saying a word about it right now.
Yeah, they're not commenting on this latest drowning at Oak Mountain State Park. Now, in the past 5 years, there's been 8 drownings. So this is a higher number. Now, are there more people going? Probably. They might have some more people. But the city of Pelham, during their work session this week, was asked about this, because residents are coming forward super concerned, like, what's going on? Why are so many people drowning at Oak Mountain State Park? They have, like, 2 beaches. They don't have any lifeguards there. So some of the residents are concerned about that. And the reason Pelham Fire comes into play here is because they're the agency that responds to any emergencies. Pelham Fire and police respond there because it's in city limits. So they were called out and had to search for this young man that drowned, Will Chisholm. He's 20 years old. He was in Double Oak Lake for over an hour before they could recover his body. They had to use sonar and all kinds of equipment to a dive team went down and got his body out. But it made headlines over in that area. And then Alabama State Park System was called out, not really called out, but the mayor of Pelham said, you know, Alabama State Park System is the ones that are responsible for the way they operate, their safety measures, that sort of thing. So we can't really do anything about it. All we do is respond when these incidents occur. So I reached out to Alabama State Parks, and they just said, you know, this is a tragic incident, but we are not going to comment at this time.
Well,
so hopefully they'll be able to comment later, but right now they're not.
The young man who died is Will Aiden Chisholm. He was only 20? Oh.
Mm-hmm.
That's awful.
Yeah, and what's really sad about that is his family came out and they were asking for prayers and set up a GoFundMe account to help pay for his funeral, because less than 3 months ago they lost their mother. So they've lost their mother and brother all in less than 3 months. They're just devastated by this. It's so sad.
Yeah, and everybody lift up that family in prayer. Yeah, and, you know, it's the summer, and we should be having fun out on the water, and a lot of folks are, but, you know, whether it's a river or a creek even, but especially the ocean or the lake, be careful. Or just the pool.
Yeah.
Like just a backyard pool.
Well, and I'll say, too, right now we're seeing double red flags all across the coast down here, and so that means that the water is closed. That means rip currents are really bad right now. And so the Baldwin County EMA, Gulf Shores Fire, Fort Morgan Fire, Orange Beach Fire, and their beach safety folks, their lifeguards that I've written about. Even went up in a helicopter with them a couple weeks ago. They're really watching for people getting in the water because, believe it or not, people are getting in the water. And just yesterday, there was a drowning at Fort Morgan, and the waters were closed, but people were in it. Father tried to rescue his 10-year-old from a rip current, and he did not make it out. The child made it out, but the father did not. And I'm still working on getting some of those details, but as soon as I get all that information, that'll be on 1819news.com as well.
And again, folks, we're talking to Erica Thomas with 1819news.com. Now, I'm looking at another headline you did. It's a crying shame. Baldwin County poll worker outlines challenges, calls for younger voters to take initiative. And I imagine this is not just a Baldwin County thing. Let's just say when I stopped by my polling place, it wasn't exactly spring chickens running the polls.
Yeah, and that's to be expected. You know, a lot of the poll workers are traditionally elderly because they're retired, so they have time, and some of the younger people have full-time jobs. They're unable to get off work, can't really go do that. But this poll worker in particular, she's a Daphne City Council member, and she was working the polls Tuesday, and she was really concerned because she said she's 55 years old, and she was the youngest one there. They just had a hard time, you know. They have to set up the tables. They get there at 6 a.m., take an oath. They set up tables. They set up machines. They make sure all the ballots are in the right place. They have to do the counting, making sure everything's good. They're staying there for 15 hours sometimes. I mean, they have to be there before polls open, after they close. Then they have to clean up everything after they get all the numbers tabulated and sent off. In Baldwin County, I believe sheriff's deputies come to each precinct and pick up the little, I can't think, the thumb drive that has the results on it, and then they drive it to Baldwin County Probate.
Okay.
So those poll workers have to be there all that time. And Stephanie Gaining Messenger, she suggested maybe doing shifts, you know, like split up the day in 2 shifts so it's not 15-hour days for a lot of these elderly people. But really, no matter what she said, there needs to be younger people getting involved. Maybe some local businesses could offer to still pay their workers but go work the polls. Plus, they'll get paid for working the polls. You can get paid up to $200. Usually, I think it's around $175, but the inspectors get $200 in Baldwin County. That'll be different in each county. And I did hear from somebody up in Huntsville that was an 88-year-old poll worker, and she said she has the same concerns, not only with poll workers being younger, but also voters just being interested at a younger age and coming out and, you know, doing their civic duty by casting their ballot. Really, it's something we should be thankful that we can do. It's something we should be really proud of. And I know yesterday in Baldwin County, or Tuesday in Baldwin County, we only had 10% voter turnout, so that was just really sad.
Well, Granny, I know that's cool and all, but the Nintendo's putting out the Ocarina of Time on the Switch 2 again. They're remaking it, and I'm going to spend all my days. I don't have time to vote. Got to play a game. Escape.
Well, if you want to have the freedom to play that game and you want that to continue, you definitely need to participate in elections.
Now, what do you think just generally of the outcome of a lot of this, in particularly statewide races?
Generally, I'm just glad that this primary runoff is over, Joey. That's what I can say. I mean, you know, each race, there weren't a whole lot on this ballot, and I think that had to do a lot with turnout, but each race had its own moment, you know, of high drama, high stakes, and I feel like some of this stuff was just blown out of proportion to sway voters. I don't know of any one race that was, you know, super clean, super on the side of I'm just going to tell people what I want instead of going after my opponent. I mean, it gets interesting, you know, it's like Real Housewives of Montgomery sometimes, like watching a reality show, but at the same time, you just want to know what the differences between the two people are so you can make an informed decision. And I think sometimes the drama overshadows the things we really need to be focusing on and thinking about. And I know I just sound like a generic broken record, but
No,
that's the
you're
truth.
ringing a lot of bells with me. I mean, as I wrote about, I was praying for the return of the king. I was like, what is all this worldly crap? But you also hit a note that I've been trying not to say as much, but I noticed it. You talked about it being like the Real Housewives of Montgomery. I usually hesitate to say this because it makes men and women mad, but lately the politics seems like really catty. Like it really is like the ladies going after one another, even when it's like two men on the ballot. I don't understand what's going on here.
Yeah, well, I think being a positive Patsy here, when they have to just dig that deep and find something so petty to harp on for weeks and weeks and weeks and make such a big deal, that's a good sign, because that means we have people running for office that are going to do, the right thing. We've got solid candidates, which, that's saying a lot, because there's some states that really don't have solid candidates for any office. So thank the good Lord that we do have options.
I was just worried Jared Hudson was going to be like, I had a dream last night and Barrymore was a total jerk in that dream, guys. And it's like, what? Everybody's going to take that seriously now, Jared? Yeah, I like Jared. I think we would have ended up with anybody good at the end of the day, and not ask you to comment on any particular race. But yeah, I agree with you. Thank God it's over.
Yeah. That's my synopsis. Thank goodness it's over. Now we have the August special primary election to look forward to, so I'm sure that'll start to ramp up now. And then after that, November 3rd, general election. Everybody go ahead and put that on your calendar. We need to show up and show out for Alabama and really just surprise people because of all this low voter turnout. We need to surprise people and say, look, we care. We care about our future. We care about who's going to be in office. And you really do need to, we've got a huge race on the ballot. The governor's race is going to be huge. And all of that drama is still playing out, too, with the Tuberville residency challenge. So we'll just keep watching that. We know Tuberville's not going to back down. He's not scared of a fight, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, you just reminded me. It's like in your neck of the woods, Jerry Carl's going to be fine. But District 2, I have a whole brand new slate of candidates that are going to try to get me to go to the dance by hopping on this show. Dadgum, I thought I was done with it.
No, and I know them all. I think I've interviewed every one of them. We've got some more options and choices to make. And the interesting thing about that special primary in August, is that there won't be a runoff. So whoever wins that from that crowded slate is going to go on to be on the November ballot.
Well, and any parting comments? I'm about to jump in on the press conference J.D. Vance held this morning. You got any insights on this peace deal and the war ending with Iran and people being mad or happy about it?
I think we just are going to wait and see what he has to say, and then, see what happens. I've got to wait until he comments and releases some of the details on this. Right.
Yeah. Amen. You're making a lot of sense today, Erica Thomas. If folks want to check out what you're writing about, what you're thinking about, or maybe they want to get in touch with you for a story, how can they do so?
Well, you can get in touch with me, erica.thomas@1819news.com, and that's Erica with a C, E-R-I-C-A, Erica like America. You can also email all of us news@1819news.com and subscribe to our newsletter, get our top stories every day, or you can become a member and support us, which we greatly appreciate, and you will get access to our exclusive content, which has really been going crazy on social media, so it's exciting to see.
Well, I appreciate it as always. We'll talk again next week.
Thank you. God bless.
God bless. Again, folks, Erica Thomas there with 1819news.com. This part of the program brought to you by Cole Plumbing. James Cole and the team there, well, they understand time is of the essence, and if you have a water problem, like a burst pipe, or your water heater, your water tank just went kaboom, or it could be it's not just water, it's like a gas line leak, which is really dangerous since you get that taken care of. They can solve these issues for you, and they can do it without making a big old mess out of your home with this proprietary pipelining technology they have over there at Cole Plumbing. They can find that leak, whether it's in your yard or inside the house, without tearing out a bunch of drywall or digging up a huge hole or trench in the yard trying to find it. They can find it with precision and expertise and fix it up. But it doesn't have to be like a huge issue. It could be want to install some nicer things. You want to upgrade in the bathroom or in the kitchen. Maybe a new garbage disposal. It's about time because that thing stinks. Or it could be you're just looking for somebody to help you with your broken toilet flapper. It doesn't have to be a big, crazy problem. It could be something you just can't fix that you need pros to do that. Well, Cole Plumbing can help you. 279-8919 is their number. That's 279-8919. Just go ahead and save that number, 279-8919. And just remember, folks, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole. Yeah, there's a lot of other stuff in the news. Trump, of course, officially signing this memorandum of understanding, and everybody's acting like they understand the MOU. But it's interesting how all the different parties like cleave to their talking points. I'm with the president on this one. I'm with the vice president on this one. I don't know how I was. Well, I was like, I'm trying to think the beginning of this war. I didn't like that we're going to war, but I'm also in this mood of late of like, I'm not the one in the chair. You hear me when we were talking about that Sonny Burton case and the death penalty thing that Governor Ivey had to make a decision on. Yeah, I can have an opinion on it, but I'm not the one who has to make that choice. And I think especially in American foreign policy, there's a lot of folks that never have to put their name at the bottom of an MOU, at the bottom of a treaty, never have to put their face behind a policy. And yet they constantly act like they're the true masters of the universe. And it's a little frustrating. So we'll get to J.D. Vance. He was at the White House briefing room, gave a lengthy press conference, mostly defending this deal and understanding. Trump came out and said, oil is flowing, Iran can never have a nuclear weapon, and the world will be safe. The stock markets are roaring, jobs are at records, and prices are dropping. Affordability. Our country is strong, safe, and respected like never before. You're welcome. President DJT put that out on Truth Social. Yeah, so the 60-day period for negotiation formally begins. There have been folks who have noticed that Marco Rubio's been quite quiet while J.D. Vance runs point on this, which could mean Rubio doesn't agree with the president and the vice president's decision on this and what they're selling. Beyond the Iran news, you have a new Gallup poll out. In 2001, voters were asked, are you proud to be an American? So in 2001, voters who said they were extremely or very proud to be Americans, the GOP Americans, people identify as Republicans, 90% of them said, I'm proud to be an American, extremely or very proud to be an American, 90%. In 2001, Democrats weren't that far off. 85% of them said they were extremely or very proud to be Americans. Democrats in 2001. 2026, 25 years later, a quarter of a century later, what are those numbers? Oh, the GOP is still at 90%. 90% of GOP voters in 2026 are extremely or very proud to be Americans. Democrats in 2026, only 29% say they're extremely or very proud to be an American. Only 29%. It was 85% quarter of a century ago. Now 29%. And on that same note, 88% of Republicans say they plan to celebrate America's upcoming 250th birthday. 60% of independents say they're going to celebrate America's 250th birthday as well. And 54% of Democrats say the same. The dynamics of that are fascinating. And even, sometimes there's a little bit of drop off with the GOP on how proud you are of the country and stuff like that when, say, the wrong president's in there. But it usually doesn't drop much. Even if you don't like Joe Biden or Barack Obama or Bill Clinton or whatever, GOP voters tend to still say, yeah, I'm proud to be an American. Of course I am. Whereas now in 2026, you got to wonder what happened going over 25 years from 85% to 29% of Democrats being extremely or very proud to be Americans. And I'm sure they have a whole litany of things they can go through. From the fat cats on Wall Street and corporations running things and the rich getting richer. And we need to do a wealth tax on the billionaires and now trillionaires like Elon Musk. What has he ever made? What has he ever accomplished? See, I ran for office, and I convinced people through manipulative ads to give me power. That's a true accomplishment. Reliable, reusable rockets to send, space-based satellite technology all around the globe. What is that? That's not an accomplishment. And plus, he got it with government money, they would say. They could go through a whole litany, the usual isms, the racism, the sexism, the homophobia. The transphobia. Forgot about that. And me forgetting there for too long. That's just more evidence of it. Yeah, you could go down the whole list of stuff. That there are just so many people with problems in this country, and it's everybody else's fault. Everybody else's fault. America ain't that great. It should be more like, Denmark. Even though Denmark is tiny and like a pretty homogeneous society that's existed for centuries and not longer. So, that's a little different than what we call America. But fascinating, the dynamic there of how many Democrats say, nah, I ain't proud to be an American now that we're here on America's 250th birthday. We also have Jeff Bezos saying, my worst investment is the Washington Post. The people who work there are terrible. Could have told you that beforehand, Jeff. AI is destroying morale at Facebook. There's a new United States Postal Service election rule that it's brilliant and will actually really bring a halt to a lot of the mass mail-out voting, but that's only if courts don't block it. And then back to Alabama news. This one in particular caught my eye. Roy Moore asked the Supreme Court of the United States to block appeals court ruling that reversed an $8.2 million defamation award. Uh-oh. More on that after this break.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
We get a lot of questions about what all we handle at Hannah and Eddie Realty Group. I'm Hannah Grantham.
And I'm Eddie Bader, and we will handle all of your real estate needs.
We handle all your buying and selling needs, from your first home, next home, land, investment property, and even commercial properties.
We do it all and have the experience that shows you what makes us different.
So when you think real estate, think Hannah and Eddie Realty Group. Look us up on Facebook or give us a call at 334-368-6358. And let us show you who you have on your sign matters.
Celebrate 4th of July savings happening now at the Home Depot with select appliances starting at $398. Plus, get free delivery on appliance purchases of $398 or more, no membership required. Get a Whirlpool fridge with easy reach zone to keep tall items organized and accessible. And upgrade to a washer-dryer tower with UV clean technology to reduce bacteria in the wash without fading fabrics. Shop top brand appliances now at the Home Depot. Offer valid June 17th to July 8th. U.S. only. See store online for details.
In the military, the mission was clear. You knew what to do. Now, the mission has changed. Stepping into civilian life isn't about finding a job. It's finding your purpose.
I wanted a career that would leverage the skills and discipline I gained in the military. IT just felt right.
My Computer Career offers class schedules that fit into your life and skills in high demand. Put your VA benefits to work. Visit mycomputercareer.edu/CWP to jumpstart your IT career today. An elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
2026 marks 60 years that hope has had a home in Alabama. At the Alabama Sheriff's Youth Ranches, children who've lost everything through no fault of their own have found something priceless. A safe place to live, a loving Christian family, and the chance to simply be kids again. Here, boys and girls grow up surrounded by care, guidance, and faith, learning right from wrong, learning responsibility, learning they are valued and that their lives have purpose. As the Alabama Sheriffs have believed for 6 decades, it's easier to build boys and girls than to repair men and women. These former ranchers are now teachers, parents, business owners, and leaders, living proof that love, structure, and faith can change a life forever. As the Alabama Sheriff's Youth Ranches celebrate 60 years of serving Alabama's children, you can help ensure the next child has the same chance. Learn how you can make a difference at alabamasheriffsyouthranches.org. 60 years of building lives, and we're just getting started.
Rich Thomas Weather is brought to you by Mr. Electric of Montgomery. Mr. Electric, we've got the power to make things better. Visit MrElectric.com.
Well, hi, everybody. We have a tornado watch that continues in effect. Also, a flood watch continues through Friday. Periods of rain and thunderstorms with the threat of some excessive rainfall totals through tonight and much of the day Friday, too. And the risk of tropical spin-up tornadoes as well. And our weather app will keep you on top of the action with instant push notifications. It's free in the App Store. Just search Rich Thomas Weather. High today, 81. Low tonight, 73. High tomorrow on Juneteenth in the mid-80s. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Live, local talk. The River Region's most trusted voice for news and opinion. News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
How you conduct yourself in a democracy?
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. I'm your host, Joey Clark. And where I left off, on Tuesday, former Alabama Supreme Court Chief Justice Roy Moore, I haven't heard that name in a second, asked the United States Supreme Court to block a ruling by the 11th Circuit U.S. Court of Appeals from taking effect while he appeals that decision. If the lower court's decision is not put on hold, but he ultimately prevails, Moore told the justices he may not be able to recover the $8.2 million that the jury awarded him. According to SCOTUS blog, in the filing by Moore, he emphasized that if the mandate, the formal document allowing the 11th Circuit ruling to go into effect, is issued, and the $8.2 million bond that guarantees payment of the jury's verdict is released before he can ask the Supreme Court to review the lower court's ruling, the judgment he obtained after trial will be lost as a practical matter before this court can determine whether review is warranted. Of course, in August 2022, a jury in the federal court in Northern District of Alabama found the Washington, D.C. based Senate Majority PAC was liable for $8.2 million in damages to Moore. The judgment was for injury to his reputation in the 2017 special election to the United States Senate caused by the shopping mall ad, which stated he had been actually banned from the Gadsden Mall for soliciting sex from young girls. Man, was that almost a decade ago? The Senate Majority PAC, which claims to be solely dedicated to protecting and expanding our Democratic majority in the U.S. Senate, was ruled by a jury to have published the statements with actual malice, one of Moore's attorneys, Talmadge Butts, said at the time of the initial judgment. So, appreciate that closing line from Talmadge Butts. Now on the Iran front. Let's start by, this was Trump yesterday at the G7. He gave some presentation and then he started taking questions, and I believe this is Peter Doocy of Fox News being cheeky and Trump liking it. Let's listen in, though, because this sets up, well, the next thing we're going to go to that was happening this morning.
There's some element to this where you send the vice president. If it works out, great, you look like a genius for sending him. And if it doesn't work out, it's the vice president's fault.
I like that idea, sure. What? This way, if it works out, I'm going to take the credit. If it doesn't work out, I'm blaming JD. You better be careful, JD. He's going to turn his plane around and get the hell out of here. Yeah, I like that idea. I think it's a good idea. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
You better be careful, JD. And yes, the 2028 politics has already begun. Interesting, in a lot of that press conference, Howard Lutnick was laughing his tail off at every little aside, every little joke or barb Trump threw out there. But Marco Rubio, who normally would be chuckling as well, was tight-lipped. You got to wonder how Rubio feels about all this, because he has not talked about it very much publicly. So you better be careful, JD. Well, here's Vance on his big media tour about the book. I think this is on the podcast Diary of a CEO. And I haven't watched it that much, but it seems like a good enough pod. And here is, well, Vance being asked about, do you take back what you said bad about Trump? But you better watch out, JD.
There was a private message between you and a roommate where you said he was either a cynical arsehole or America's. How do you go from that position to vice president of the same person.
A crazy journey, man. But again, I mean, it's you have to ask yourself, first of all, I thought Donald Trump would be a failed president if he got elected. He was not. I thought that America's institutions were fundamentally functioning. They were not. I thought that the military leaders who told us this about a war were the scientific experts who told us this other thing about a pandemic were fundamentally, maybe not always right, but fundamentally wise people who were mostly right. I was wrong.
What have you observed behind the scenes that JD didn't see?
So, I mean, I want to caveat this with saying that I didn't know him well by the time, I voted for him in 2020. Obviously, very, very involved in the 2024 campaign well before I was ever his vice presidential nominee. I had that change based purely on what I saw from the outside. It's not like I had insider knowledge about Donald Trump, and that's what caused me to change. Now, what I will say is that having the insider knowledge, Donald Trump is much different as a human being than the media makes him out to be. He's very warm. He's a very loving person to his kids, to his grandkids. He's incredibly generous. Like if you see Donald Trump, in the Oval Office, it's like he has to give you a gift. Like he has to, whether it's, a water bottle or a MAGA hat or a coin or a pin. Like he's one of these people who he really likes hospitality. He really likes making other people happy. I had no understanding of that from him from the outside. What I would see is, clips of him arguing with a journalist, and that was it. And that gives you a very, very one-dimensional view of a person. So yeah, I definitely from the inside have seen a much, much more multidimensional figure.
There was
You better watch out, JD. You better watch out. This Iran thing better go good, big guy. I don't care if you're saying nice things about me. Of course, Trump definitely seemed to be joking in that regard, but they're already, Mark Lefebvre of the world and all this other stuff they're ready. Ben Shapiro to just put knives in J.D. Vance because his name's on this. He was the lead on this negotiation, and it's worse than the Obama deal. And the Obama folks saying, well, it's just like the JCPOA. Perhaps. 272-9228. That's 334-272-9228 if you want to get in on this topic. But this was earlier. This was the vice president doing a press conference live from the press briefing room, and I thought we should just watch along to this, not just clip it up, but actually see what the vice president had to say in full in the room, just to read his body language, read more of the room than just a few clips here or there. So let's begin.
Prices are. On the military side, the Iranians for the second night in a row did not shoot at any ships in the Strait of Hormuz. So far, they are honoring their end of the commitment. And on the blockade, CENTCOM has allowed north of a dozen ships to go through our naval blockade, and so we're also honoring our end of the early part of the agreement. On the military side, a couple of things that are still true and will be true whether the Iranians comply with the rest of the deal or not. Number one, their nuclear program has been completely destroyed. Their capacity for enrichment, the facilities at which they were using to develop enrichment and develop a potential nuclear weapon, those facilities are still destroyed. Their conventional military is still destroyed. Their capacity to threaten their neighbors is still largely gone. And now we see whether they are willing to comply with the next step of the president's peace plan. As you all know, the part of the peace plan, the part of this MOU that I think have been most misrepresented by certain parts of the media is the idea that the Iranians get all these benefits. You will hear things about $300 billion or $24 billion or this or that number of money or amount of money. And the simple fact is that the only way the Iranians get any of those resources, not a single penny, by the way, from the United States of America under any circumstances, but the only way that they would ever get any benefit of the bargain is if they comply fully and change their behavior. And so you really have a win-win situation for the United States of America. If the Iranians don't change their behavior, their military and their nuclear program is still destroyed. If they do change their behavior, then they are going to have a transformative relationship with the Middle East, and the Middle East will have a transformative relationship with the people of Iran. That's a win for the American people and for the President of the United States, regardless of which option the Iranians ultimately choose. We obviously want them to choose the right option. The interesting thing about their system, and I think it's important for the American people to appreciate this point in particular, is that there are real divisions within their country about how exactly to proceed. And what we've seen over the last couple of months is that the pragmatists within the Iranian system, the people who really do want to transform their relationship with the Middle East and with the world, those people are winning the argument. The United States wants those people to win the argument. The United States wants to have a better relationship, but in order for that to happen, the Iranians have to perform. And if they don't perform, as we've said before, they don't get any of the benefits of the bargain. So what I'd ask all of you is just to report honestly that the United States isn't giving up a cent of money to Iran, and even the economic benefits, the sanctions relief and so forth that comes along with this bargain only happens if the Iranians perform. So with that, I want to say thanks to all of you. It's good to be with you this morning, and I'll kick it over to questions. Let's start right over here to the right.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. I wanted to ask a follow-up on something you just mentioned. You talked about the possibility of the current Iranian leadership fundamentally changing their behavior. Do you think that the current Iranian leadership recognizes the leverage that the U.S. holds over itself economically and militarily enough to actually go forth with fundamentally changing their behavior over the long term and going about things differently?
So I certainly think they recognize the leverage that the United States has over them. We've seen that in a number of our conversations. We've seen that just in their behavior over the last couple of days. They certainly recognize that the United States has great leverage. Will that ultimately lead to a change in behavior? I don't know. I've seen skeptics of the deal. People say the Iranians will never change their behavior. Well, maybe that's true. And if so, they don't get any of the benefits of the bargain. But isn't it worth trying? Isn't it worth seeing whether this incredibly weakened position that the President of the United States has put the Iranians under, whether that motivates them to change their behavior, not just vis-a-vis the West, but vis-a-vis the Middle East? And one of the interesting things about this is, the technical details of this we can, of course, get into. There are going to be any number of opinions about the negotiation, about where it's ultimately going to go. But I tend to think that you should trust the people who know the Iranians the best and who have the most to lose. What are the Gulf Arab states saying about this deal? What are they saying about this deal compared to the JCPOA in 2015? This is the Obama nuclear deal. Well, back then, they hated that deal. They felt like it empowered the Iranians to be bad actors across the region. And of course, that's exactly what happened. They were right about that. What are they saying about the president's peace deal? They're saying this is an amazingly transformative thing for the region because either way, we and the broader region win. Iran is weakened, their nuclear program destroyed, their economy in desperate straits, and if they change their behavior, big things are going to happen for Iran and for the world. If they don't, no skin off our backs. Either way, we win, and that's the way the president has set up this deal and this negotiation.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. Just a quick housekeeping question. I think you answered in your topper, but did the 60-day period officially begin yesterday?
I would say the 60-day period officially started today. It was signed late, and it may have even been signed technically, because of the time shift. I think it's signed technically today, Iran time. So yes, the deal started yesterday. We're going to start the 60-day clock today. Go ahead.
Can you help us understand President Trump's shift on his stance for Iran's ballistic missile program? Initially, it was a key objective to dismantle it. Yesterday, he said it would only be fair if they had some, if the countries around Iran also had some. So when and why did that change? And will the final agreement have any restrictions on these missiles?
So we destroyed a substantial number of their ballistic missiles and their ballistic missile launchers themselves. It's not just the bullets, but it's the actual gun. And that's what we were extremely effective at in destroying during the last 3 months of the campaign. All the president said yesterday is that, of course, countries don't give up the right of self-defense. Israel doesn't give up the right of self-defense if Hezbollah fires rockets or drones at Israel. The Iranians don't give up the right of self-defense in their country, but we do expect that as part of the final deal, they are not going to be able to build the kind of missiles that can broadly threaten the entire world. And that's what the President of the United States said yesterday. And look, I mean, it's very simple. You can't tell a country, whether Israel or Iran, they're not allowed to have any self-defense. That's not what the president has asked. That's not what the president has requested. But as part of the final deal, what we want to see is Iran not funding regional instability, funding regional terrorism, and of course trying to rebuild their nuclear weapons program. That's the main thing. The nuclear weapons program is destroyed. It is gone. If the Iranians decided tomorrow to build a nuclear weapon, they simply don't have the capacity in order to do that. What we're trying to ensure is they don't rebuild that capacity, not just a year from now, 2 years from now, but many, many years from now, so that our children never have to worry about a state sponsor of terrorism having a nuclear weapon.
So far, he seems to be well spoken on this, but I mean, there are a lot of corners yelling and screaming and quite upset about this. And near the end of this press conference, he actually addresses an Axios story that came out today about a couple hours ago. Netanyahu fumes, allies rage over Trump's Iran deal. So, yeah, there's plenty of folks in the larger orbit who maybe jumped into this war, maybe even convinced the president to engage in this war. And he's called it off early, according to their liking. But when are they going to learn they ain't the ones in charge? The president's the one in the chair. I'm the boss. We'll see. Got to hit a quick break. We'll be right back after this.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings 6 till 9 and afternoons 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Trust is the number one reason why a patient chooses a healthcare provider. Adams Drugs has been your trusted healthcare provider since 1962 and has been voted the number one pharmacy in the River region for many years. We strive each and every day to provide you the level of health care you have come to expect from Adams Drugs. The employees at Adams Drugs take pride in developing relationships with their patients, from making sure your prescriptions are filled correctly to getting to know you and your family's needs and following up on any questions you may have. Adams Drugs employees deliver top-notch service. We ask you to visit us at any of our locations in Montgomery, Prattville, Wetumpka, Millbrook, and Pine Level Marbury and give us a chance to earn your business. You can find us at adamsdrugs.net for the location that is nearest to you. Adams Drugs is your local, independently owned Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, taking the time to listen and care.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com.
Don't you love the feeling of coming home to a clean house? Let Southern Bell's Cleaning Service get your home in order. Families in the River region trust Southern Bell's because they know Callan and Jesse will show up on time and believe in cleaning the old-fashioned way. They bring all their own supplies and specialize in full-service, residential, commercial, vacant properties, and construction cleanup. Estimates are always free. Call Southern Bells today at 546-0715 or follow them on Facebook at Southern Bells Cleaning River Region.
The River Region's News Talk station. News Talk 93.1 WACV. News Talk 93.1.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Now I want to go back before we have to hit our top of the hour. More of J.D. Vance. But it does seem like Vance, this is his baby. Of course, it's Donald Trump's baby, but when you start thinking about the future, and in particular how the folks who really can't stand this deal, while, as Vance pointed out, the Gulf Arabs actually are loving this deal. But the folks who can't stand this deal, whether Israeli or Americans, they're often calling it it's like the hillbilly Obama. It's like the Vance deal. They're focusing like a laser on JD because they know how to play the game. Let's go back to the Vice President. This was this morning in the White House press briefing room.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. You were just saying that you're hoping this deal would prevent Iran in the future from getting a nuclear weapon. But from what's been put out there of the MOU, I'm curious, how does the MOU reflect that in the future Iran will not in fact get a nuclear weapon? What's stopping them from down the road, to your point, rebuilding and restarting from where we were pre the war?
Well, number one, they would have to get a lot of money in order to rebuild their nuclear program. You're talking about billions and billions of nuclear infrastructure that the United States destroyed. In order for them to rebuild that program, they would have to get a lot of money. And we have them in an economic chokehold right now that we're not going to release until they fundamentally change their behavior. What would that look like? That would mean a real inspections regime. That would mean a real enforcement regime. As the MOU contemplates, that would mean the destruction of their enriched stockpile. All of these things are the sorts of steps you're going to take if you're serious about ending your nuclear weapons program. And that, again, is why I go back to this fundamental trade that's built into the deal. They need money to do anything. Their economy is in absolute dire straits. But in order for them to get any integration into the world economy, they're going to have to show us and verify for us that they are changing their behavior. And that's why the deal is set up in the way that it is. Go ahead.
President Trump said yesterday that he was going to blame you if the talks with Iran go sideways.
Coming for you, JD.
He's going to make you the fall guy?
No, not at all. I mean, I think the president was joking, but as he often does. But no, I think, look, the entire team has worked very well on this, and we've got this thing to a very good place for the American people. Now, I have seen some progressive criticisms of me personally saying, what experience does the Vice President of the United States have with hostile, high-stakes negotiations? And I would point those progressive critics to the fact that just 2 days ago, I spent over an hour on The View. So I actually have great experience in very hostile negotiations, and I've used that. I mean, look, Joy Behar is way tougher than the Iranians, and she and I are best friends now. So we're going to get to a good place here.
Cool as a cucumber, baby. More of the Vice President in a second. First, though, this part of the program brought to you by Dylan Rings. And they're at Dylan Rings. They are, well, ready to help you with any and all of your jewelry needs. But, you know, some days the skies are gray. I'm sitting here looking at Dylan Rings' Facebook post. The rain won't quit and everything feels a little dull. That's when it's nice to have your own sunshine. That's right. It can still be a beautiful day, folks, even if it's rainy outside. And they have these stunning natural canary yellow diamonds. So you don't have to wait for the clouds to clear. They bring the sunshine with them. It's pretty remarkable. If you go to their Facebook page and look at some of these natural canary yellow diamonds, whether it's the radiant yellow diamond halo pendant or the bold yellow diamond statement ring, each piece captures the warm glow of a perfect summer day and turns it into something you can wear. Natural fancy yellow diamonds are among the rarest treasures found in nature, prized for their cheerful color and unmistakable brilliance. Like a ray of sunshine breaking through storm clouds, they have a way of brightening every room they enter. So get by there, folks. If you want to see, go to Facebook, Dylan Rings, DYLAN Rings, on the Book of Faces, and you can see these pieces that we're describing right now. But there's nothing like actually going, if it catches your eye, go see that piece in person. Doesn't mean you have to pull the trigger. No, you're going to want to. After you get by there and you see this ring or this pendant in person, you're going to realize this is truly remarkable. This is truly one of a kind. I don't know if I can wait. I think I have to go with this. By the way, they have financing options over there at Dylan Rings. And of course, you might find something else when you stop by 119 Brown Springs Road that catches your eye. Have a great selection, great inventory, or inspiration could hit. And you say, you know what? I like that, but could we do something custom made, Josh? Well, Josh the jeweler, they can help you there at Dylan Rings. So be sure to stop by again, 119 Brown Springs Road, and tell Josh and Leslie Ryder that Joey, that fella on the radio, sent you. We'll be right back after this.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. War Secretary Pete Hegseth has announced a 6-month Pentagon review of American forces in Europe. The review's outcome will depend on how quickly European allies take responsibility for their own security. The Supreme Court siding with a Texas marijuana user who wants to legally own a gun, the latest in a line of firearm cases from a court that has expanded gun rights. Tropical storm Arthur has weakened to a low-pressure area along the upper Texas coast. The National Hurricane Center announced that the storm had degenerated Wednesday night. It was the first of the Atlantic season and threatened the southern U.S. with dangerous flash flooding. New York, celebrating the Knicks in classic style, the city threw a ticker tape parade for the team that brought home the NBA championship that fans have longed for since 1973. This is SRN News.
There's a moment nobody talks about with weight loss. It's the moment it stops working. The diet that worked before doesn't. Eating less stops moving the scale. That's not random. When your body's under stress, it slows your metabolism. That's why quick fixes eventually fail. At PhD Weight Loss, they focus on restoring your metabolism. And right now, when you call and mention Mike G, you'll get 2 free weeks and they'll pay for the cost of your food. Call 864-644-1900. That's 864-644-1900 or visit myphdweightloss.com.
Hey, John. Why so glum? I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the 3rd time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this. Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career. Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. Mycomputercareer.edu, an Elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Rich Thomas Weather is brought to you by Victoryland.
Victoryland Casinos, crowning 25K free play giveaway. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Victoryland Casino, where you can be a winner too.
Well, hi, everybody. We have a tornado watch that continues in effect. Also, a flood watch continues through Friday. Periods of rain and thunderstorms with the threat of some excessive rainfall totals through tonight and much of the day Friday, too. And the risk of tropical spin-up tornadoes as well. And our weather app will keep you on top of the action with instant push notifications. It's free in the App Store. Just search Rich Thomas Weather. High today, 81. Low tonight, 73. High tomorrow on Juneteenth in the mid-80s. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
When the heat hits to the river region, don't wait. If your AC quits, Hands Heating and Air offers same-day service, or your diagnostic charge is free with their Comfort a Day or You Don't Pay guarantee, plus 24/7 service with no overtime charges.
From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, these are today's top stories. Winsel's Seafood Restaurant in downtown Montgomery has been ordered to close by the Montgomery County Health Department. The health department began an investigation after a complaint was filed against the restaurant. Inspectors went to Winsel's Monday where they found a rodent infestation and an insufficient lack of refrigeration. A new president and chief executive officer has been named to lead the Southern Poverty Law Center. The SPLC's board of directors unanimously chose Ryan Haygood to fill the role. Haygood will take over in late August amid allegations the SPLC secretly funded hate groups like the Ku Klux Klan. The Montgomery City Council has unanimously voted to approve the Greater Floyd Campus Master Plan. Floyd Elementary and Middle School have been vacant for almost 2 decades, with health and safety concerns increasing at the deteriorating property. The Floyd Master Plan is part of a larger effort to address blight and revitalize the surrounding neighborhood. From the Blue Water Broadcasting News Center, I'm Sky Mosley.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368. An equal housing lender.
Tired of spending your weekends fighting weeds, patchy grass, and a mower that never starts? Mosley Lawn Pros is the solution. They handle residential and commercial lawn maintenance, landscaping, cleanups, and property care so you don't have to. They show up on time, do the job right, and leave your lawn looking sharp every time. Stop stressing over your yard and start loving it. When it comes to your lawn, call the crew your neighbors and local businesses trust. One call, one crew, problem solved. Mosley Lawn Pros, built on hard work, driven by quality. Find them today on Facebook or Google.
Please be advised. You may want to stop eating the following foods immediately: broccoli, kale, bean sprouts, blueberries, quinoa, spinach.
Wait, what? I thought those were good for me.
Turns out not for everyone, because what's healthy for one person can cause inflammation for another. And the only way to really know what your body needs is to listen to it.
Listen how?
That's where Viome comes in. Viome is a simple at-home gut health test that looks at your body's real-time biology using RNA to understand what's happening inside you right now. When your results come in, you'll learn exactly which foods to eat, which to avoid, and which supplements are right for you, all based on the world's largest RNA-based human biology database and thousands of clinical research studies. And many people who use Viome report more energy, better digestion, and a better mood within months. So stop guessing. Start knowing. Learn more at Viome.com/gut. V as in Victor, IOME.com/GUT. And use coupon code GUTHEALTH50 to save $50 off your purchase. Viome. Trust your gut.
Hi, I'm Brian McMahon with Turf Stalkers. Within a few months of advertising with Blue Water, our customer base doubled. If you're looking for similar results, we highly recommend advertising with Blue Water.
Did you know that radio is the #1 reach platform in all of media? It's true. Call us to find out how to put radio's #1 reach to work for your business. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's news and views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Thank God for another beautiful day. Yeah, it's stormy, it's rainy, but doesn't mean it's not beautiful in one way or the other. Now, we've been following this press conference the vice president did earlier today, and I want to keep going with it because I think this is fascinating for a lot of reasons. The main issue of Iran itself and whether or not this deal will hold and bear good fruit and potentially reshape the Middle East. What is the effect of this deal and this policy in particular on what is going to be media coverage and distinctions made for 2028? Because, for instance, Marco Rubio has been very quiet about this while Vance has now seized the spotlight. And Trump is, of course, it's his name on it. It was Donald John Trump that was signed at the bottom of this memorandum of understanding, this MOU. But Vance is the salesman of it. Vance was the guy in the room negotiating it in a lot of ways, along with other players. So let's go back to the vice president. Again, this was earlier this morning in the White House press briefing room. Continue on.
We're going to get to a good place. We're already at a good place. It's just a question of whether we can really get the icing on the top of fundamentally transforming Iran's relationship with the world. Go ahead.
Thank you. A couple of just timing questions. How soon, as the MOU lays out, can Iran start selling any of its oil that has sort of been impounded, right, with the blockade? And two, can you sort of explain the Lebanon component to the MOU and how that front works and the enforceability of it?
Yeah, so the Lebanon component, this is about regional peace, right? This is about regional peace. And what that means is we expect Hezbollah is not going to be firing rockets and firing drones at the Israelis. And we also expect that the Israelis are not going to be going wild in Lebanon, right? Both sides have to honor their end of the deal. Now, as you guys know, sometimes these ceasefires are a little messy. The President of the United States said this a couple of weeks ago, that a ceasefire in that region of the world just means they're shooting a little bit less at each other than they were before. What you've seen is radical progress in Lebanon, less shooting, less firing, but you're still going to have these little flare-ups from time to time, and that's just the sort of thing that we're going to have to manage through the diplomatic process. Secretary Rubio's been sort of the person on point. It's actually worked out extraordinarily well because we do have substantially less shooting, but it's going to be something we have to manage. And eventually what we want to see is the Lebanese government, the elected representatives of the people of Lebanon, who are able to police southern Lebanon so that Hezbollah has not taken over the country, the Israelis are not threatened, and then consequently the Israelis are not attacking southern Lebanon or Beirut either. That's the plan there. You asked about the Iranian oil. Look, one of the interesting things that you've seen is that the Iranians have been completely unable to sell oil, not because of sanctions, but because of the blockade. Fundamentally, the thing that we have done here, the original, what we give, what they give, is that we said we're going to lift the blockade, we're going to allow you to sell some of your oil, and they're going to open the Strait of Hormuz. We see that process starting to work already. It's going to take a little time before it picks up fully, but that's where we are today. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President. The MOU, just on the straight, the MOU guarantees these 60 days of toll-free passage, but after that, it has, of course, led to a regional dialogue with Oman and Iran deciding the future governance of the strait. A senior U.S. official told us yesterday that they expect Iran to push aggressively on this, but also that Gulf states won't allow any kind of tolls. How strenuously will the U.S. fight to keep tolls out of the strait and keep any fees away from the future strait commercial traffic? And are you going to leave it to the Gulf states to kind of fight this battle?
Well, first of all, we believe international waterways should be free of tolls, and that's been our position. That's what you see, of course, in the 60 days of the MOU. And when you say it leaves it open, it doesn't really leave it open, except in the sense that, of course, the final negotiation is going to set the terms of what comes afterwards, right? You said, I think that it's the Omanis and the Iranians, but it's actually the MOU contemplates that the Omanis, the Iranians, and the Gulf Coast Coalition together will figure out a proper security framework for the straits in the future. And what I mean by that is that we don't ever want this to happen again. Right? That's not about tolling. That's about ensuring that the straits are never used as a choke point for the global economy ever again. It's frankly not what the Iranians want. It's not what the Omanis want. It's not what the GCC wants either. So what we're going to do, of course, working with our allies in the region, is to ensure that that is reflected in the final deal. And if that's not reflected in the final deal, there's not going to be a final deal. And that is, I keep coming back to this fundamental structural point of this negotiation, which is that we have all the cards. If the Iranians want the benefits of the bargain, they have to give us the things that are necessary to get those benefits. Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President.
We'll do both. Okay. Both you guys. There's one in the white and then one in, orange, I think.
What about the pink?
I'm sorry? Okay. Maybe I'm colorblind. It looks more orange to me. I don't want to have a debate about that. Orange, pinkish. You go first, and then in front of you can go second.
President, thank you, Mr. Vice President. How does the points about granting some immediate waivers on sanctions, especially from the Treasury Department, how does that square with the Iran Nuclear Agreement Review Act? And are you planning on briefing Congress on this portion?
Yeah, so I talked to James Braid, our head of OLA. We do plan to brief Congress very soon. I believe that they got the formal copy of the signed document this morning, and if not, they're going to get it at some point later today. We are planning a briefing. I believe right now the House is out of session, the Senate is in session, though maybe I've reversed that. But we're going to ensure that the team briefs Congress and, of course, answers their questions. We've been doing that informally, of course, talking to a number of people in Congress just over the last week. We'll keep on doing that, and we'll have a formal briefing. I won't say exactly when that will be because it depends a little bit about session schedule. Your point about the sanctions is I'll go back to what I said earlier, which is really the choke point on Iranian oil was never the sanctions. We didn't see that as a major concession to the Iranians. Frankly, the Iranians didn't see that as a concession to them because what prevented them from selling oil was not the sanctions. They were selling plenty of oil without any discount because the sanctions were just fundamentally ineffective at that point. What the sanctions did do is move the Iranian financial system to sort of the shadow banking system. So by lifting the blockade, that's the significant thing that has changed. And by lifting the sanctions, we're actually going to be able to see a little bit where their financial system actually sends money and receives money. That's a real benefit to the American people. And that's really the only thing that has changed by the change in sanctions. Oh, sorry. I forgot that part of the question. No, we don't think so. We actually have an opinion from OLC we feel quite confident about that, Congress does, there are certain things that require congressional approval. There are certain things that don't require congressional approval. We feel quite confident that we can temporarily lift those sanctions without going to Congress and seeking their approval on that.
Yeah, and there are a lot of folks. It's an interesting question because there are a lot of folks in the Congress who are ready to fight over this without even seeing the deal. Now, I could play it a little later. Senator Britt, Katie Britt, to her credit, said, well, let's see what's in it. Trust the president. And that's essentially what she said, the effect of it. Let's actually see what's in this deal. By the way, as I'm covering this, happening live in Chicago, Barack Obama. He was once president for 8 years. He is opening up the Obama Presidential Center, saying this is where I launched my candidacy for the Illinois State Senate. At the Ramada on Lakeshore Drive, serving soda and pretzels and embarking on the path that ultimately and properly led to this day. Oh, that is a strange looking building. That is such an odd looking building. Who designed that? What is that? Goes on to talk about how he holds dear about the people of his city and the surrounding neighborhoods and stuff. But I don't know. I was a little taken aback by just seeing what his presidential center or library looks like. It's the building itself is ugly, man. And ugly's not even the word. It's just odd. Like, I don't know what that sort of architectural design is, but it's a choice. It's certainly a choice. 272-9228 if you want to get in on the conversation. That's 334-272-9228. Let's go back to the vice president for a second.
Apparently there's been reports coming out of Israel that Iran is already funneling oil money to Hezbollah even before this particular MOU was signed. And how exactly is the U.S. looking at this? If we're talking about behavior on part of Iran, I mean, October 7th happened, and if there's concern that perhaps Hezbollah could end up doing some sort of attack on that scale, then, how exactly are we talking about the reaction from the United States if we're talking about perhaps a humongous scale attack that actually could happen? Are we waiting for that type of attack? I mean, what exactly is a scale?
Man, what a leading question.
Sorry, you said what exactly is the scale?
Well, I mean, like, what type of attack would it take to actually get a reaction from the United States to say, okay, now we're actually going to start dropping bombs on Iran for having bad behavior?
Well, we don't want a scale of any attack. Any attack, whatever its scale, is unacceptable under this agreement. Now, you asked the question saying that oil money was flowing to Hezbollah before the MOU was signed. And it's one of the reasons why we are actually engaged in this process is to ensure that no money is flowing to Hezbollah. So it's interesting where people will say that the MOU is bad because the MOU produces consequences that were actually happening well before the MOU was signed. That's not a reflection on the MOU. That's a reflection of why we need the MOU to ensure that we have the regional peace and stability that we need. Now, what I would say to some of the critics of the deal that I've heard that will say, well, Iran's going to get all this benefit. I'll repeat what I've said, and I'm probably going to have to repeat it a number of times, is what is the benefit that the Iranians get that they didn't have before? And the answer is nothing. They don't get anything unless they change their behavior. If they change their behavior, that is a thing to celebrate. That's going to transform the Middle East for a generation. If they don't change their behavior, they don't get the benefit of the bargain. And I think, I got to be honest, I think fundamentally this idea that, and it's a misrepresentation of the MOU, this idea that the Iranians get all these benefits before the deal is actually consummated, the idea that they get benefits before they change their behavior is fundamentally a talking point that is issued by people who want the conflict to continue indefinitely,
correct,
despite the fact that that's not good for the American people and it's not good for the region. Way in the back. All the way back in the red.
Thank you so much, Mr. Vice President. Mr. Vice President. Right here, you mean? Are you red?
We'll do, okay, sorry.
Thank you. I'm wearing bright red.
So many people are wearing red. You can go first. Kara, right?
Thank you, Kara.
Okay, and then next after that.
Okay, great. Could you highlight the major differences between this deal and President Obama's deal in 2015 and why the administration believes that this deal is superior? And second, Mr. Vice President, President Trump has been vocal lately about his disapproval for Bibi Netanyahu's attacks on Lebanon. Has the administration spoken to Bibi Netanyahu directly about the president's concerns recently, and what is the feedback from Israel?
Yeah, so we speak to Bibi or speak to somebody in the Israeli government, just as we speak to the Gulf Coast Coalition, our regional partners, pretty much every day, at least at some high level of our government. Look, the president's been very clear. He does not withdraw from Israel. No one could withdraw from another country the right of self-defense. Israel has the right to defend itself. But fundamentally, the Israelis, just like everybody else, have to respect this peace process that is fundamentally good for them and good for the entire region. What the president gets grown frustrated sometimes is that we seem to be right on the cusp of a major breakthrough in the agreement, and then all of a sudden there's a major explosion that goes off in a civilian population center in Beirut, and a lot of people who have nothing to do with Hezbollah lose their lives. That's not acceptable. That's the sort of thing that we've asked for closer coordination so that we ensure it doesn't happen. And our message to the Israelis, just as our message to everybody else, is fundamentally, we want this peace process to be good for you. We do not want Hezbollah attacking Israel, but in order to ensure that that happens, we have got to actually build the kind of regional framework that can cut off the money to Hezbollah, cut off Iranian support for Hezbollah, and also ensure that Lebanon's territorial sovereignty is respected by all parties. And the difference between the two agreements. So first of all, the two big differences are not even in the substance of the deal itself, but something I said earlier are, number one, the Gulf Coast Coalition loves this deal because they think that it makes Iran weaker. They hated the Obama deal because they thought that it made Iran stronger. They know more about this, and they have more to lose than anybody, including the United States of America, so I trust their judgment. The second thing is where the deal came from. You have to remember, in 2015, Iran had built a sophisticated nuclear weapons program with a nuclear weapons stockpile. So the perspective that we came at as the United States was, you already have a really nice nuclear program. We're going to bribe you with American money in order to stop it. Our perspective and where we're coming at it is, we already destroyed your nuclear program. And so if you promise and show verifiable pathways to not rebuild it, then we're willing to give you some sanctions relief and things like that. So it's a fundamentally different perspective. Now, there are all these substantive differences as well. The Obama nuclear deal allowed enrichment. Ours will not. The Obama deal allowed the accumulation of stockpiled weapons-grade material. Ours is actually leading to the destruction of that stockpile of enriched materials. So there are many differences. The Obama deal gave them over $1 billion of American money. This deal gives them $0 of American money. So a lot of substantive differences, but I think the most important differences are where we're coming at it from a position of strength and the fact that our Gulf Coast partners love this deal.
Yeah, and there's a story out today at Axios. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu was silent on Wednesday as President Trump released and signed a deal that Israeli officials see as a strategic and political disaster. Netanyahu promised the Israeli public total victory in Iran. He had to settle for Trump's memorandum of understanding and frequent criticism from the president all 4 months before an election. Netanyahu stands alone internationally in his belief that the deal is a mistake and the war should have continued. Even the United Arab Emirates, which had been the most hawkish of the Gulf states, decided to join the regional consensus in favor of the deal. To the vice president's point, in Washington, too, Netanyahu's allies in the GOP and in the media are reluctant to fully trash a deal that carries Trump's name. There will be no repeat of Netanyahu's address to Congress in 2015 to rally opposition to President Obama's Iran deal. Netanyahu can't even go on cable news and bluntly oppose the deal unless he wants a fight with Trump. Instead of public denunciations, Israeli officials have been expressing deep concern about the deal in the background briefings with Israeli reporters. Meanwhile, Netanyahu-aligned media outlets, most of which have been emphatically pro-Trump, have started to attack Trump and his team. One primetime host on Netanyahu-aligned Channel 14 called Vice President Vance a quote-unquote scumbag and used an anti-Semitic slur to accuse Trump's envoys Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner of selling out Israel for financial gain. Lovely. So it's kind of like they essentially call them like Jewish Uncle Toms or something like that. At the G7 summit on Wednesday, Trump thanked Netanyahu for his cooperation during the war with Iran while also taking swipes at the prime minister, saying, Bibi's a good man. He gets a little excited sometimes, but we have an amazing partnership. We are the big partner, and he is the very small partner. Wow. Trump said, referring to Netanyahu by his nickname. Days earlier, Trump told Axios that Netanyahu had no effing judgment. No effing judgment. And he didn't say just harsh letters there, because he ordered out a strike in Beirut that nearly scuttled the deal. Netanyahu was caught by surprise when Trump announced the deal on Sunday, and Israeli officials claimed as recently as Tuesday that Israel still hadn't been allowed to review the MOU. A U.S. official acknowledged in a briefing with reporters on Wednesday that Netanyahu might not have seen the final text, but claimed the Israelis never asked for it, and that the White House had given Netanyahu detailed briefings throughout the negotiations. During Wednesday's press conference, Trump said he'd sent over a copy. The U.S. official claimed that despite Netanyahu's skepticism, the prime minister had told Vance, Kushner, and Witkoff that if Iran follows through on the nuclear concessions it told the U.S. it was willing to make, that it would be a home run deal. Yeah. The issue of greater immediate concern for Netanyahu, of course, is Lebanon. The MOU says the ceasefire includes the fighting between Israel and Hezbollah, and that Israel would have to withdraw from Lebanon under any final deal. A Netanyahu advisor said Israel doesn't consider itself bound by the Lebanon part of the MOU. Of course. The advisor noted that Netanyahu told Trump Israeli forces would not withdraw from southern Lebanon until Hezbollah was disarmed. We have a little dispute about Lebanon, Trump said on Wednesday. The White House says this won't be a one-sided ceasefire, and Israel will have the ability to retaliate if Hezbollah attacks. U.S. officials also hope Israel will use the next 60 days to make progress in its negotiations with Lebanon on a political settlement, and that an Israeli withdrawal might result from those talks rather than from a nuclear deal with Iran. Trump also criticized Israel's tactics in Lebanon again on Wednesday, saying it was unacceptable, quote, to knock down an apartment house every time you're looking for somebody. Even the presidents with whom Netanyahu often quarreled weren't so bluntly critical of Israel. It was another blow for Netanyahu to absorb from his indispensable ally. Yeah, no, I think Trump is going to go his own way. And also, I think Trump and Vance and so many other folks on the team understand most Americans don't care about this. Some Americans do. For all sorts of different reasons. Whether the media they consume or certain things they believe. But I don't think most Americans care about the detailed nature of this stuff in a particular way. So this is kind of like if it works, farewell to the foreign policy politics we've been doing for the last 50 years? And especially the last 25 years? This has been a fixture in the American mind, at least in terms of the elite that run the media in this country. Well, it used to. Things have changed. So it'll be interesting to see if this actually works out. Now, the question is, will it actually work out? That's always the devil's in the details. 272-9228 again, if you want to get in on the conversation. It's 334-272-9228. Before I put this issue to bed, here is Alabama's own Senator Katie Britt. She was asked about this deal, and she is at once, deferential to Trump, but also incredibly hawkish against Iran. It's a nice place to be. It's at least one of my takeaways from this clip. Let's listen in.
You cannot trust them. We never have been able to. And that is why making sure that the deterrent that President Trump has created over the last 100 days, it was there. Because if you think about this now, we know that their naval fleet, much of that is at the bottom of the ocean. We know that obviously Operation Epic Fury and what it was able to do really crippled their enrichment ability. We need to make sure that that gets completely and totally off the table, that we make sure that we get every particle of that, every dust, get it out of there, that we control the narrative on that. The strait is open. We know that much of their missile capacity is down. You look at what we're talking about with the regime. Obviously, we are down 3 layers into that, with many of their top people being taken out by President Trump and obviously our courageous men and women in uniform. So I think that deterrence is there. But I think this is an exercise of don't trust but verify. So I think we come to the table with that in mind, but know that the long-term goal of this is to have sustainability of peace in that region, because we know that's what's better for Americans, for the safety and security of our country, for the prosperity of the people here on our shores. A stable Middle East and Iran without the ability to enrich nuclear capabilities is what's best for all of us. So I think that they'll be looking hard at this. There'll be a lot of questions, but I know that President Trump is the best deal maker that there is on the planet. So I trust his ability to get this done.
And it really is remarkable how the shoe is on the other foot in terms of folks upset in this moment, where the Hawks were overjoyed. You're Mark Levin's of the world now. Mark Levin's on a warpath against this deal and against Vice President Vance in particular. And whereas the Tucker Carlsons of the world are over the moon about this. I'm happy it seems like peace is breaking out. I've been praying for peace since day one. We'll see. We're not done with this. It's certainly going to be a big part of 2028, especially if things go sideways. But even if things work out, it's a nice feather in the cap, especially for the vice president, since he seems to be the one selling this thing. This part of the program brought to you by Pest Pro Services, and they're at Pest Pro. Ashley and that great team are ready to help you with any and all of your pest control needs. And, after all this rain, that's going to be stirring up those bugs. So if you are already noticing issues with actually keeping those insects out of your home, get Pest Pro Services on the job. They'll take care of it. And really, it's as simple as calling them up, 265-9990, and saying, hey, I want to do some basic pest control work with y'all. And they can get you on a monthly subscription plan. That way, it's easy to control and expect costs throughout the year for your pest control needs. And then maybe you, like right now, want to add on top of that, when the season is right, mosquito control, termite inspection, and protection year-round. They can handle all that there at Pest Pro Services, and they're great folks. It's a great local company that's been growing leaps and bounds the last 5-6 years. It's just because they're that good. So check them out today. You can always learn more at ppsriverregion.com or search Pest Pro Services on the Book of Faces, a very active Facebook page there, or just, again, call them direct, 265-9990. That's 265-9990. And be sure to tell Pest Pro, Ashley, the whole team there, that Joey, that fella on the radio, sent you. We'll be right back after this.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Yes?
Yeah, I'm Bill. You called about some breakers tripping?
Oh, yes, Bill. My brother-in-law says you can do almost anything.
That's me. Not much I hadn't seen.
Do you really want someone who does almost anything in your electric box? Think about that, because each year thousands of home fires are caused by faulty wiring. That's why you want a professional, like the electricians at Crosby Electric.
Bill, how's it going? Bill, ooh, are you okay?
Oh, yeah, well, I didn't really need my eyebrows anyway.
At Crosby Electric, all technicians undergo rigorous safety training, as well as background checks, drug testing, and continuing education.
Bill, you think maybe I should call a real electrician?
No, these little slip-ups happen. Everybody does it.
Really?
No, not really. When you need professional electric work, or you just like someone to assess your home for safety, call the experts at Crosby Electric, 272-2085, or visit us at crosbyelectric.com.
E-Bike Oasis, E-Bike Oasis, E-Bike Oasis, ride for free. E-Bike Oasis, E-Bike Oasis, E-Bike Oasis, ride for free.
At eBike Oasis, we're more than just Montgomery's best electric bicycle store. eBike Oasis offers free 1-hour electric bicycle rentals and a full-service electric bike repair shop. Stop by eBike Oasis in Montgomery today for free rentals, repairs, and electric bicycle brands in town.
This is your roving reporter, and today I'm talking with a political activist.
That's right, man.
And could you please explain to us your red cap with the letters MMRGA?
Yeah, man, this is my MARGA hat.
MARGA?
Yeah, man, that stands for Make My Retirement Great Again.
I see.
And to do that, what you need to do is call David Ernest,
the asset preservationist.
That's right, man. You can call David at 833-596-7233. That's 833-596-SAFE.
And I understand that's a toll-free number.
Yeah, man. Get David Ernest on the case, and your retirement will be great again.
And you make these hats?
I do. Here's a whole pile left from the last administration.
And they say CPWABD.
Yeah, man. Corn Pop was a bad dude.
And as you said, there's a whole pile here.
Well, there wasn't much demand.
I can dig it.
Are you tired of the mainstream media's biased reporting? Do you want to stay informed on the news that really matters to you? Look no further than 1819 News. At 1819 News, we bring you the latest in Alabama news, politics, sports, culture, and more. We've assembled a team of journalists with Alabama values dedicated to the truth and the truth alone. Visit us at 1819news.com today. That's 1819news.com. Subscribe to our newsletter. Honest News, Alabama Values. This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
What's your biggest investment? More than likely, it's your home. So treat it that way when you hire a painting contractor. With PBS Painting, there are no gimmicks, no $99 specials. Just quality painting and someone who treats your home with the same respect that you do. At PBS Painting, we have been painting for years and look forward to many more years to come. With PBS Painting, the job gets prepped properly, whether it's cleaning, scraping, or priming. We always use quality products, which is a must for a quality paint job. So if you're looking for a painter that doesn't need upfront money and is on the job at all times, then please give me a call. Scott Bowers and PBS Painting, 294-5122. That's PBS Painting, 294-5122. Look at some of our work on Facebook at PBS Painting Montgomery.
Weather, a service of H&H Carpets, where right now, get a load of this, listen close, you get a house full of carpet for $19.95 installed. Unbelievable. They're located at 6450 Atlanta Highway, just across from Walmart.
Well, hi, everybody. We have a tornado watch that continues in effect. Also, a flood watch continues through Friday. Periods of rain and thunderstorms with the threat of some excessive rainfall totals through tonight and much of the day Friday, too. And the risk of tropical spin-up tornadoes as well. And our weather app will keep you on top of the action with instant push notifications. It's free in the App Store. Just search Rich Thomas Weather. High today, 81. Low tonight, 73. High tomorrow on Juneteenth in the mid-80s. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Life's a beach with an ASE loan financing the fun you deserve. It's your summer, your way. ASE has the funds. Apply online or at any of our 9 locations.
ASE Credit Union. Your life, your goals, your ASE.
Federally insured by NCUA.
Live local talk. The River Region's only 24-hour News Talk FM station. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Now to the inside of Washington, D.C. on the SAVE Act. There's a report out there that certain GOP senators pile on Mike Lee, Senator Mike Lee of Utah, for pushing the Save America Act. A senior congressional reporter for Punchbowl News, Andrew Desiderio, shared that one source described the criticism of Lee's push to pass the Save America Act as a quote-unquote pile-on. This reporter also said that Cornyn and Kennedy, quote-unquote, and this is Senator John Kennedy of Louisiana and John Cornyn of Texas, Cornyn and Kennedy complained that President Trump is being led to believe it's possible to pass the Save America Act in the Senate. GOP senators went after Senator Mike Lee during the closed-door lunch meeting today over his push for the Save America Act. Again, being described as a pile-on. In a post, Rachel Bovard, who serves as the vice president for the Conservative Partnership Institute, criticized the senators for using the conference lunch to go after the one guy asking them to pass the Save America Act. Yeah. So here is Brett Baer of Fox News pressing the Senate leader, John Thune, on the Save Act issue. And of course, Trump has already tied this, saying, you want me to renew FISA, your spying ability, your intelligence eyes? Because we got a lot of foreigners in the country right now with the World Cup. You want me to do that? Pass the Save America Act. Let's listen in to what John Thune has to say about passing this thing.
Now, the president is putting another stipulation. He wants his Save America Act, which is a voter ID, although it has other provisions in it, to be attached to FISA. He had a Truth Social saying that the few Democrats, his word, are against FISA with or without Bill Pulte going to DNI as acting. What kind of deal is that? Besides, I'm against FISA if it doesn't come with the Save America Act, full version, firmly attached to it. What do you say to the president on that?
Well, we've had the vote on the full version twice now. So the full version is 5 components, and it's photo ID, it's registration or citizenship in order to register to vote, no biological boys and girls sports, bans mail-in voting, and it does away with trans surgeries for minors, which I'm for, and a lot of us are. But that only got.
And those 5 things are fairly practical in the Republican caucus.
They are. I mean, those are things that. But we only got 48 votes. We had that vote last week on all 5 components. The only way you can get, obviously, get this done is to nuke the legislative filibuster, and that is not something that we have anywhere close to the votes to do. So we've had votes. We had it on the floor. It was the pending business in the Senate for a couple of weeks. We've done everything we can to date. We'll continue to put the Democrats on record. The Democrats are voting against an issue that 80 to 85% of the American people are for, and we need to hold them accountable for that.
But the president doesn't seem to understand your math.
Yeah, and I get that. And he's very
on conversations with him.
Yeah.
How does this go over? Because the way he types it in his True Social post, it's pretty aggressive. He thinks you should be doing more.
And he's passionate about it, and we are doing everything that we can, but it is a function of math. I mean, we are bound by arithmetic in the United States Senate.
No, you're bound by relationships. It's not just a stupid number. Tell Mitch McConnell to straighten up. Do you have nothing on him, John? Or does he have everything on you? And that's the unfortunate reality of that place up there. Is there no way to convince Murkowski? No way to convince Tom Tillis? Or Susan Collins? No way at all? I think that's Trump's point. That's a lot of people's point. Soon continue.
Currently aren't there. We will continue to put the Democrats on the record and insist on votes on this. But if you tried to attach it, for example, to FISA, it would tank FISA. And so, we will move.
Good. Then tank FISA. It's a violation of the Fourth Amendment anyway.
Once we get Clayton done, we'll move to FISA, try to get the Democrat coalition back together so we can actually pass that and put it on the president's desk. But, and we will look for votes, additional opportunities to get votes on the SAVE Act.
What about housing? You've got a deal, potentially a bipartisan, bicameral bill on housing. And there are going to be people, including the president probably, who say, put Save America on that.
Well, I think he has said that. I don't think there's a bill that's come in front of us that he hasn't said that on. The housing bill, carefully negotiated, what we call 4 corners, bipartisan, bicameral, Democrats and Republicans in the House and the Senate. It is an issue that directly gets at the heart of the affordability question for a lot of Americans. It creates additional supply of housing in this country, makes housing more affordable. And so I'm hoping that's something, too, that we can...
It'll probably actually make things more expensive, but that's just my guess. I don't know the details. Every time Washington tries to make something more affordable, they end up making it more expensive. But here is Senator Mike Lee. He was on after Bret Baier's show, and he responds to what the Senate Majority Leader was saying, what Thune was laying out there. Well, it's just math. So let's listen in to the senator from Utah.
Word for the Save America Act?
Yes, there is, Kaylee, and I respectfully but very strongly disagree with my colleague from South Dakota on that. In the first place, the Save America Act, as passed by the House of Representatives, does have a simple majority of support in the United States Senate. Now, we don't have 60 votes of achieving cloture. There are other ways of breaking a filibuster that don't involve resort to cloture. You don't actually have to have 60 votes to pass a bill. You just have to have 60 votes to force cloture. But you can break a filibuster through other means. My preferred means, particularly for this bill, the House passed Save America Act, which I believe would work. We put the Save America Act on the floor today. Not the expanded version, the one that actually passed by the House, for which there is a simple majority support in the Senate. You put that on the floor today. If the majority leader were to announce, we're going to debate this until we pass it, we would get to the point of passage. You can't do this all the time because it would take a lot of time. This is how they passed the Civil Rights Act of 1964. At the time that bill came over in March of that year from the House of Representatives, they were about 30 votes shy of cloture. We're only 10 votes short. But the majority leader at the time, Mike Mansfield from Montana, to his credit, said, you know what, we're 30 votes shy of cloture, but we're going to debate this bill until it passes. And you know what happened? That bill got more popular. Those who were obstructing it got less popular. They started negotiating the terms of their exit ramp. They negotiated changes to the text that made them feel better about it and helped them save face. It ended up passing. That takes legislative courage to do that, and that's what we need in the Senate. We could pass it. Don't fall for the hype that this is undoable. It's only undoable if we choose not to go to the effort. I don't say that about every bill, but I do say that about a bill that enjoys the support of somewhere between 70 and 80% of Americans, Republicans and Democrats alike. This bill needs to pass, and we could do it.
Senator Lee, thank you for.
Well, I thought it was just math, John. Yeah. No, I think it's about actually being creative and, as Mike Lee said, having courage, using this as an issue the way the president is using it as an issue. But those who run the United States Senate just see things so differently. They're so practical up there. This part of the program brought to you by the Goodson Group. And there at the Goodson Group, well, they can help you out whether you're looking to buy or sell real estate, property, a house here in the Montgomery and surrounding areas. Bo has been working in the River Region real estate market for about half a century now, so he has a truly unique understanding of how the area works. And not only can they help you there at the Goodson Group with buying and selling your property, but they have management services available should you want to rent out your home. Great idea in this market. Why not, for a reasonable fee, have the Goodson Group manage that rental for you. So check them out today. You can always learn more online at thegoodsongroup.com or give them a call at 551-0225. That's 551-0225. Bo Goodson and the Goodson Group. Great sponsor here of the program. We'll be right back after this.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Get ready, Central Alabama. The biggest watermelon festival yet is happening Saturday, June 27th at Sweet Creek Farm Market. They're celebrating America's 250th birthday and all things watermelon with free admission, over 100 arts and crafts vendors, a watermelon eating contest, entertainment for the kids, food trucks, and family fun around every corner. It's Sweet Creek Farm Market's biggest arts and crafts festival ever, and admission is free. Saturday, June 27th, 10 to 4 on Highway 231 and Pike Road. Come hungry, bring the family, and celebrate summer at Sweet Creek Farm Market's Watermelon Festival.
From weddings and concerts to cookouts and construction sites, TT Porta Toilets has been serving Central Alabama for over 30 years. Whether you need standard portable toilets with wash stations or upscale restroom trailers for special events, the Tierce family has the right solution for every occasion. So when you're planning your next big event or project, make it easy on yourself. Call 285-5513 or visit ttportatoilet.com. TT Porta Toilets. Clean, convenient, dependable.
This hour of news and views is brought to you by our good friends at Alabama Home Mortgage. Alabama Home Mortgage, 567-4223. Visit them on the web at myalabamahomemortgage.com. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender.
On FM, on your smartphone, and online, the River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Let's go right to the phones at 272-9228 and talk to T-Spear. Hey, T-Spear, how you doing?
Good morning. Doing fine on this rainy day. I hope everybody stays safe.
Yeah, good afternoon.
We're just talking about dealing with the likes of Susan Collins and John Thune.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there is a way to resolve their not being willing to do what their constituents, I'm sure by now, have contacted them and told them to do, which is to vote for the SAVE Act. That resolution is their constituents need to get together and inform John Thune and the likes of Susan Collins and the rest of those Republicans who refuse to vote for it, let them know that they are no longer citizens of their state and put their homes on the market for sale.
Wow. You're going like right where it hurts.
If you're not going to do what we tell you to do, if you're not going to do what we have elected you to do, then you are no longer a member of this state, and you will leave. How quickly do you think they would come back to the state and resolve their residency issues and do as their constituents tell them to do?
I think pretty quickly. That's a heck of an incentive you're laying out there, but I just don't know if there's going to be any states that'll do it.
I'd sure as Rick give me one of those ships for sale by owner signs and put it up in their front yard.
Oh, no. Like, I get it. I hear where you're coming from. There's got to be some consequences. But, you know, you think the cowards up there in D.C. are bad. Think about the cowards in state legislatures.
Oh, they're pretty bad. You are absolutely correct.
And there are a lot of good
And
people, too,
reason
if you're out there
why they're
listening.
correct.
Some of you legislators, you're great. Not talking about you.
And again, you're correct. The situation with legislators not listening to their constituents after they have been elected a term or so, Mike Rogers, is that they no longer give a damn about what we say. So if they're not going to listen to us when we call and we harp and we harp and we harp ad nauseum, then we need to be doing something about removing them from our state, because obviously they are not truly representing our state and they need to go.
Oh, yeah. It's just a matter of getting the funding, getting the right candidate to challenge them, and giving people an option. And because, I don't know, if he keeps getting reelected and you keep saying, like, I don't like him, why should he have to listen to you? I know he should because you're a constituent, but, you know.
In my case, I write in empty orange juice can, because an empty orange juice can is much more useful than some idiot in Washington who refuses to listen to their constituents.
You've been writing that in since 2012. I remember those days.
And guess what? In November, I'll be writing it in again.
Well, I appreciate the call, T-Spear. I hear your frustration. It is, I don't know, they try to whittle it down to math, and we just don't have the votes. It's like, could y'all not use some of your dark arts on some of your own every once in a while? It'd be nice.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, guys. Y'all keep up the good work.
Thanks,
See ya.
This is part of the program. In fact, the entire hour brought to you by Alabama Home Mortgage. And there at Alabama Home Mortgage, Kim Williams and Madeline Cannon are ready to help you out, whether you're looking to buy a home or refinance your current home. And instead of waiting for like what the Federal Reserve is going to do or what the national news headlines say, instead get in touch now, like today, with Alabama Home Mortgage, and understand your own economy, understand your own need for a home. It could be wherever interest rates are, wherever the rest of the market is, that this is the right time for you, depending on your particular situation. So it could be you're looking for money. It could be hiding in plain sight right there in your home. Homeowners are sitting on record levels of home equity, so it could be you want to shore up a retirement fund. Maybe you're burning through what you had already saved faster rate than you hoped. Or it could be debt's just gotten out of hand, and you need to reconsolidate. You need to restructure that debt. A great refinance deal can help you do that. Or it could be you just want to go on that great family vacation. You want to be a little more liquid. They can help you out with all that. And if you're looking to purchase a home, they can walk you through that home buying process, whether it's your first time or maybe you've done this before, but you left with a bad taste in your mouth dealing with certain, say, big companies. Why not go again with a great local company, Alabama Home Mortgage? From pre-approval all the way to closing day, they can, be your guide through the home buying process. Check them out today. And by the way, maybe you want to buy a spot in another state. Maybe you're going to move to another state. You can still work with Alabama Home Mortgage. Of course, they're licensed to work in Alabama, Georgia, Florida, and Tennessee. They're ready to help. Check them out today. You can always just call them direct to get the conversation started at 567-4223. That's 567-4223. Or you can apply online at myalabamahomemortgage.com. There is a difference in mortgage companies like Kim and Madeline. Prove that to you today. NMLS number 1586368, an equal housing lender. Now, I want to share real quick. Maybe a guy that ain't going to be cowardly. He's actually going to be a lion. U.S. Senator Tommy Tuberville is an op-ed out today. Now, it's sometimes, that's my space on Tuesday, Coach. But to see his name in that slot there for a column at 1819 News, well, I want to share this with y'all. Coach writes, for years, the political class and the fake news media have been after me because I'm not your standard politician. When I came onto the political scene 7 years ago, they did everything in their power to make sure I was never elected as your United States Senator because they knew I wasn't interested in business as usual. I've had the honor of representing Alabama in the United States Senate over the past 6 years. I've always spoken the truth and have ruffled some feathers along the way. But I didn't go up there to make friends, join all the fancy clubs, and suck up the leadership for my own personal benefit. I don't give a rip about Senate tradition or going along to get along or about doing things to help me get reelected. I'm there to fight for the best interests of the people of Alabama. There's perhaps no better example of this than when I, and again, this is Coach Tommy Tuberville writing, when I held up senior military promotions for 10 months over the Biden administration's illegal and immoral taxpayer-funded abortions policy at the Pentagon. I took a lot of heat for that from the right and the left, but I was hearing every day from Alabamians and veterans across the country who said I was doing the right thing, and at the end of the day, that's who I'm here to represent. The fake news media and the D.C. swamp don't like me very much because they know they can't control me, writes Coach Tuberville. I can think of someone else they don't like too much either, President Donald Trump. They've been going after him with everything they've got ever since he came down the golden escalator in 2015. They've had him arrested, indicted, and his home raided. Some of them even cheered when he got shot. So I wasn't really surprised when the woke media and Democrats started making up lies about me. After all, they know they can't beat me at the ballot box, writes Coach Tuberville, so their only play is to try to keep me off the ballot. Like Trump, my opponents, with the help of the fake news media, are weaponizing the judicial system to go after me, claiming that I'm not a resident of Alabama and am not eligible to run for governor. Thankfully, the witch hunt about whether I'm legally able to run for governor was finally laid to rest after a hearing earlier this week. Case closed. Do they really think I'm dumb enough to run for office if I'm not legally qualified? I spent most of my time in Washington, D.C. representing Alabama in the Senate. When I'm out there, I'm usually either in Auburn with my wife, Suzanne, or spending time with my granddaughter. If the media really cared about where I live, they could have just asked a few of my neighbors in Auburn. But they didn't do that because they don't care about the truth. This entire residency hoax, says Coach Tuberville, is about the fact that my opponents have nothing to run on. So they have to make stuff up and hope that Alabamians are dumb enough to buy it. This shows you what they really think of the hardworking people of Alabama. They think you can't think for yourselves. It's deeply insulting when you think about it. The idea that Alabama's senior U.S. Senator isn't a resident of Alabama is just ridiculous. In addition to discrediting Alabamians, these same people are trying to intimidate me. Recently, some of my political opponents leaked me and my wife's personal tax information to a local woke newspaper in an attempt to stop me from running. I know this publication has dwindling readership and is desperate for relevance, but if you read between the lines, they're actually trying to intimidate me into either being quiet or going away, and that's what they want. They were willing to break the law to enable others to finish the dirty work they started. Best of luck to them in court. In addition, another left-wing, struggling publication likes to frequently publish photos of my home in Auburn, says Coach Tuberville, another subtle call for political violence. They know that my home has already been quote-unquote swatted and that I've received dozens of death threats, but they don't care. If they think this has intimidated me, they're wrong. This has only strengthened my resolve to bring much-needed change to Montgomery. As your next CEO, I'm going to shake things up in Montgomery and usher Alabama into its golden age. Just like Trump, I never back down from a fight, writes Coach Tuberville. No matter what the corporate media and Democrats try to throw at us, we're going to stay laser-focused on our goal of making Alabama great. We're going to bring more jobs and manufacturing to the state. We're going to improve the quality of education across the board. And we're going to put money back into hardworking Alabamians' pockets. The fake news and the haters see our momentum, and that's why they're going to do everything to stop me. I know the great people of Alabama have my back. And as your next governor, I'll do everything in my power to protect you from the fake news and the socialist, communist Democrats who hate this country and want to see us fail. Again, Coach Tuberville putting that out, I think, across publications, but I'm reading it there from 1819news.com. So we got to hit this break. But when we come back, we'll get into more stuff, including some guy saying like Ray Kurzweil or Kurzweil. He's a futurist who predicted, the internet and smartphones and AI, and he's like been a big Google brain talking about the singularities coming and stuff. He says that aging ends by 2032. You will no longer age. Blessing or a curse, you got to wonder. My grandfather keeps telling me don't get old. Maybe that's an option now, but I think I'd rather live forever through the Lord Jesus Christ. You just asked me. Something about that. Maybe it'd be really cool. We can stop all sorts of disease and stuff. Like, I'm not completely against stuff, but whenever I hear somebody saying, I can make you immortal if you just take this for a fee, careful what deal you make.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Cusana, News Talk 93.1 FM. When it's Chevy, it's Riverside.
SRN News, I'm John Scott. Vice President J.D. Vance issued a warning against Israeli officials who criticized President Trump over the deal he reached with Iran. Vance says Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu, to his credit, has not gone down this path, but blamed members of his cabinet. A Long Island architect who lived a secret life as the Gilgo Beach serial killer, sentenced to life in prison without parole, Rex Heuermann had previously admitted in court to killing 8 women. A bipartisan bill top lawmakers and athletic leaders have described as the best chance to stabilize college sports has cleared a major hurdle in the Senate. The Senate Commerce Committee voted 19-9. The Protect College Sports Act would regulate athlete payments, limit players to one unrestricted transfer, and stop coaches from changing jobs during the season. This is SRN News.
Hey, I'm Kirk Cameron. Is health insurance eating up your budget for 2026? If you're looking for ways to better steward your finances, consider this: Christian Healthcare Ministries. It's a health insurance alternative at half the cost. Join CHM today by visiting chministries.org/wellness. While insurance companies tell you when to join, what to pay, and where to go, CHM is different. As a ministry, CHM allows you to share the burden of medical bills with other Christians. You can enroll, switch programs, or leave at any time. Christian Healthcare Ministries. It's a world of difference. CHM has 4 flexible programs. You can pick any certified doctor, surgeon, or hospital that you want for eligible care. So make the switch. Take your paycheck back from health insurance this year. Join CHM today by visiting chministries.org/wellness. That's chministries.org/wellness.
Rich Thomas Weather is brought to you by Victoryland. Victoryland Casinos, crowning 25K free play giveaway. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Victoryland Casino, where you can be a winner too.
Well, hi, everybody. We have a tornado watch that continues in effect. Also, a flood watch continues through Friday. Periods of rain and thunderstorms with the threat of some excessive rainfall totals through tonight and much of the day Friday, too. And the risk of tropical spin-up tornadoes as well. And our weather app will keep you on top of the action with instant push notifications. It's free in the App Store. Just search Rich Thomas Weather. High today, 81. Low tonight, 73. High tomorrow on Juneteenth in the mid-80s. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
1819 News.
An Alabama man who was disqualified from running as a Republican for State Senate District 10 is now going to be on the November ballot as an independent. Jesse Battles has confirmed that he has been certified by the Secretary of State's office for this race. Battles will be up against incumbent State Senator Andrew Jones. Amy Minton recently challenged Jones in the Republican primary but lost to him. Battles also sought to challenge Jones in the Republican primary, but he was prevented from doing so by the Alabama Republican Party Steering Committee. Battle campaigned and gathered over 3,000 signatures from registered voters in this district in order to run as an independent. Battle says that this campaign has been 110% about the people who live and work in that district, and he says that the people should be choosing their leaders, not insiders from within the establishment. I'll be back with more Alabama stories after this.
Did you know that 70% of people experience a potentially traumatic event in their lifetime, and that 6 out of every 100 adults face PTSD every day? Help us bring hope to these survivors by signing up for your Alabama Distinctive PTSD Awareness license plate today. The great thing is you can sign up no matter when your current plate renews, and the first year is complimentary. All you need is your VIN number on hand. Drive awareness, drive hope, and customize your plate today at atease.org.
The Mobile County Sheriff's Office responded to a shots fired call in Pritchard just one day after they took over the management of 911 calls. This move from the Sheriff's Department comes after one of the Pritchard police officers was federally indicted for criminality and corruption. The shots fired report came from a vehicle on Eugene Avenue. The suspicious vehicle was then pulled over by a sheriff's deputy, where a chase and struggle ensued. 28-year-old Tyler Coleman of Pritchard was then taken into custody and is facing multiple charges. Coleman also has a lengthy arrest history prior to this incident. No one was injured from that shooting. I'm Andrea Tice.
For more news affecting Alabamians, go to 1819news.com. And while you're there, subscribe to the daily newsletter.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
Welcome to Eclectic Coins, Montgomery's largest coin dealer, specializing in buying and selling investment-grade gold and silver coins. And they have a large selection of rare coins and coins from around the world. Visit them at 543 Northeastern Boulevard or on the web at eclecticcoins.com. Eclectic Coins, where collectors who know go.
Pizza Perfect's amazing buffet just got more amazing. To help our customers during these tough economic times, in June, Pizza Perfect has reduced the price of our buffet to just $10. That's pizza, as well as spaghetti, breadsticks, salad, dessert, and drink. Everything, only $10. Pizza Perfect Buffet. Available Monday through Saturday for lunch and for dinner Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday. Pick up or delivery. Also in June, get $5 off any large pizza at Pizza Perfect in Eastbrook, where the buffet is only $10 all month long.
The views and opinions of the following program are solely those of the host and other contributors. These do not necessarily represent those of Liberty Acquisitions 825, Blue Water Broadcasting, its management, staff, or any advertisers. It's time for Montgomery's conversational radio show. It's News and Views on News Talk 93.1 FM. To join the conversation, call 272-9228.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. I'm your host, Joey Clark. And I'm looking at a story here at 1819 News Erica Thomas just put out. And the Auburn University baseball program, apparently they have people that are explicitly Christian on the team, including a chaplain. Former Auburn baseball player Mason Manners, with one N. That's how you say it. But Mason Manners serves as the team's chaplain and offers Bible studies and prays with the team. In fact, I think at Auburn, they have these practice pullovers. Like shirts that you wear during practice. Batting practice or something. It says Jesus won, and there's a cross. Not a full-on crucifix. That's like a cross. Well, I bring this up because apparently the Auburn University baseball program received a demand from the Freedom from Religion Foundation concerning new practice gear and prayer which they say coerce players to participate in religion. Huh. The Freedom from Religion Foundation accused the University of a history of prioritizing religion. How dare they? How dare Auburn believe in Jesus? Auburn University continues an upsetting and concerning trend of allowing athletic coaches to proselytize student athletes with seemingly no real consequences, said the FFRF co-president Annie Laurie Gaylor. Yes, she does sound that way. There are undoubtedly students who are too afraid to speak up about representing a religion that they are actually not a part of. They are owed an explanation as to why their rights are consistently being sidelined. But I'm sure the Freedom from Religion Foundation loves having gay pride flags all over, MLB players. And would probably not raise a peep about it if Auburn did that. Well, but that's not religion. Okay. And that's kind of the irony. The Freedom from Religion Foundation, they kind of seem to be operating off of presumptions about, say, inalienable rights and liberties that almost seems to have a theological basis, a religious basis. And this is one of the best tricks that the enemy often pulls, is take a narrow aspect, take a fruit of what the faith has brought about, say at the civilizational level, like in the United States of America, we got a lot of rights and liberties. Take one of the fruits of a Christian civilization and then twist it to where, well, we need to harass Christians. And while we're calling on courts to coerce people to shut up, we're going to say, you're the ones who are coercing. The Freedom from Religion Foundation accuses the Auburn baseball team of having jerseys that say Jesus won with a cross on the front. However, the jerseys are actually practice pullovers. Yeah, I suspect if somebody really didn't want to wear the Jesus won shirt and just wore a normal like practice pullover, yeah, it's got like a little hoodie and everything. And I don't think it's on the front. The cross looks like it's on the back, unless that guy's back is on his front. Anyway, really, this is what's her name again? Annie Laurie Gaylor. That's all the time she has? Like, this is her concern right now? How dare they believe in Jesus? And they're at batting practice, hitting balls and stuff with a shirt that said Jesus won. What in the world is that? That ain't America. You're forcing people. You're violating people's rights and liberties. Okay. Calm down. We need to pray for you. The foundation, this Freedom from Religion Foundation, previously contacted Auburn University over its hiring of Christian chaplains, actions of chaplains, and over a religious event that was attended by multiple coaches and where head football coach Hugh Freeze baptized a player. And did anything happen? No. Y'all can just keep on chirping. And look, if you really press on me, the more I get into my own faith, I've got disagreements with a lot of Christians on stuff. But this idea of we're going to take you to court or we're going to threaten you with a lawsuit or just, it's so wretched. So wretched. Honestly, if this is what the Freedom from Religion Foundation is up to these days, I kind of feel sorry for these folks. Kind of feel sorry. In fact, I feel sorry for a lot of folks. Let's just be blunt. There are a lot of folks who are atheists. Oh, and usually it's more atheists, like the militant atheists, and there are less and less of those types of folks around. They're a lot more like, I'm just floating free, man, unaffiliated, agnostic types, and that's a whole different camp. And it is a very broad thing. But especially the militant atheist types, you do find that a lot of them have a background where they were raised in a religious home, a supposedly God-fearing home, but there were a lot of very worldly, fallen aspects to how, say, the authority figures, the parents in particular, ran that home, the advice people got. Yeah, don't get me wrong. There is a, well, again, another one of the tricks the enemy loves to pull, the malignant enemy loves to pull, is, well, when the best fall, it's the worst. So you take folks that carry the name of God, you take especially authority figures, whether it's in ecclesiastical setting, like in the church, like your pastor or something, or in the home, where husband and wife are supposedly God-fearing Christians, and then they do things that are, well, incredibly hurtful to the body of Christ. That can tend to radicalize a person. Or maybe they just weren't taught very well. The things they were taught as a child were just, well, kind of built on a foundation of sand. Like a lot of stuff happens. So you see folks come out and react to the home, and it could not just be the home, it could be the school stuff. You see a lot of these folks reacting to this stuff. But in a way, I'm like, that seems like a strange response to organize the worldview around it. It seems to be stripping away, saying, I don't believe this, I don't believe that. And it's like, well, what do you believe at the end of the day, and why? And honestly, when you get into the why part, if you're going to defend things like, liberty, well, good luck doing that purely with materialist science. Let's go to line 1. You're on there. Who's this?
Oh, Joey.
Hey, Paul.
Got a touch of echo there.
Yeah, it should go away in a second. Our phone system sucks. But can you believe they're wearing pullovers at the Auburn baseball practice say Jesus won? They're hitting balls and everything with those metal bats.
What I can't understand for the life of me is why people just do not want to get into the Word and read it for their own understanding, but yet and still they want to throw stones at somebody who does and believes it and don't give a rat's hoot about what our Constitution says.
Yeah, it's all about free expression. And I'm sorry, even at a public university, people are allowed, including coaches and students and players on teams, to freely express their faith.
Thank you. These people don't, like you said, if it was people flying the rainbow flag everywhere, they probably wouldn't say a word. They've made a pact with Lucifer. Let's call him by his name. Call him out. I ain't going to go around the clock and around the back of the bush. Oh, Satan, or that old demon. Call him what the Bible says his name was before he was kicked out of heaven. Lucifer.
Lucifer, Beelzebub, Satan. He goes by many names, yes.
Yeah. But the one that he got kicked out by was the original, so that's kind of like...
Saw him fall like lightning, and I think that's in Isaiah.
Yeah. Fell like lightning out of the heavens.
No, it is pretty great that the dragon got his butt kicked. That's at least my read. I could be wrong. There's a lot of different lenses to look at in the book of Revelation, John's Apocalypse. But I tend to think it's like things that happened in God's time that maybe are always happening, or it's not like just the end from our perspective. It's like that's happened, the dragon fell, and like that battle kind of continues in time.
Yeah, but we know what happens at the end of the book. We win. Now,
Jesus won. That's what they're wearing on those practice pullovers.
Hey, yeah. Now, Mr. Vance, did he nail that down, or did he nail it down?
I mean, he nailed it down pretty good. He holds his own, man. Now, reality can always smack you in the face, or you can be brilliant and a smooth talker and best laid plans. But there's no beating that guy in terms of like his verbal IQ's just got to be off the charts.
Well, and not only that, but the left did the same thing that Trump, I think it was Monday you played the clip, said, it don't matter which way I go, what I say, you're going to report just the opposing side of it. Wasn't that Monday whenever you played that? Or was that one day last week?
Oh, yeah. Or like you're going to criticize the way, you might like the outcome, but the way he went about it was just so wrong.
It was something that had to be done, whether it was him or, let's say, Mr. Vance was the next presidential-elect in 28. That's a long ways off yet. We have to wait and see. It was something that needed to be done. Now, I understand that in Revelation that, well, no, let me back up and regroup. Jesus said it himself. There's going to be wars and rumors of wars, but everyone is going to be crying, peace, peace. All right. Now, we can go back to, I forget, I just slipped my mind what the names was, the twins.
The twins.
The eldest born, no, Old Testament. Jacob and Esau.
Yeah.
They are those generations of the nations that are continually at each other's throat. Their offspring. And that was part of prophecy too, that will go on to the end of days.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, what, maybe 3,000-4,000 years ago? And it's been going on for quite some time that we've seen in history. Man, it's
Wake up,
not,
people.
It's not going to completely go away, but, I just started up the book of Leviticus, which is not exactly like easy, light reading. It's a lot of...
Oh, that's hard reading.
A lot of blood and guts, which, that doesn't bother me. I did discover one line. I like this. Just, sometimes a Bible verse, because people do this all the time, out of context, you're like, well, what? Why does it say that? And
I have run across so many people that would take a line or a scripture out of context and use it to what they want to say.
Oh, absolutely. Well, there's definitely that, and like the twisting and like different types of proof texting. I hope folks notice in my writing, I try to use it more as like thematic keys, not like trying to prove anything. But no, this is at least from my Catholic translation, Leviticus 3:16. Then the priest shall turn these into smoke on the altar as a food offering by fire for a pleasing odor. All fat is the Lord's. And I saw that and I was like, thank God. Jesus came and then they told Peter to kill and eat. But all fat is the Lord's.
Yeah. I love that particular story. No, Lord. Never has anything unclean passed my lips. And I know that's not where you was going with this. And Jesus tells him in the vision, hey, boy, don't you call unclean what I have blessed.
All right.
Okay. Love you, brother. I'm back to the FM.
Thanks, Paul. 272-9228. It's 334-272-9228. No, and there's a lot of worth in reading a lot of, especially the Pentateuch, the older Mosaic text. And it makes sense of it. I don't know. I'm going through it slowly, and I don't pretend to be a biblical scholar. I'm just Joey. But reading the Old Testament in light of the New and the New Testament in light of the Old, like typology, it's kind of amazing. Even when you revisit the same stories, what you continue to find more and more and more. And it brings to life so many aspects, and just how much these stories that span centuries, not longer, how much they interlock and inform one another. And again, there's so much, I don't think somebody has to understand all the intricacies of the scriptures in order to truly believe. And I think often some of the best prayers, you don't even say a word. You just offer up your heart. But if you do have the Spirit moving you in a way of wanting to learn the intricacies, It's remarkable, the gems you'll find, the fruit you will find from that. Even in stuff that's a lot of carving up of animals, rending the heads off turtle doves. But there is, it's something rewarding when you start to see all the connections. Well, and the thing is, you will never see all the connections. But you got to wonder, on the road to Emmaus, when Jesus is teaching about, and they don't know it's Jesus, but it's after he's risen, that he's teaching about how he was a fulfillment of the scriptures. You got to wonder, what was the scripture lesson being given on that walk to Emmaus? Like, what was his take? Could you teach me, Jesus, about Leviticus? How does that play into what just happened? Your passion. And when you get in that headspace, I don't know. I then see this story of the freedom from religion goes, you can't wear a shirt on Auburn's baseball field that says Jesus won. What? And it's like, have some respect, man. Have some respect. I can't believe they believe in Jesus over there in Auburn, Alabama, especially them playing sports. How dare they have chaplains and people that pray and teach the Bible and a head coach that baptizes people. What in the world is going on in America? Yeah. Well, a lot of good things. Anyway, this part of the program brought to you by Montgomery Men's Health. And they're at Montgomery Men's Health, well, they're ready to help you fellas out. Could be you're a dude and you don't feel like a dude. You're a fella and you're just like, why am I always so tired? Why am I never motivated? Where did my confidence go? Why can't I perform in the bedroom? Yeah, it happens. I'm never in the mood. I'm getting fat. I'm not sleeping well. Like, all this stuff's happening to you. And it could be your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. Then something like this is happening to you. Now, an underlying issue could be low testosterone, and there at Montgomery Men's Health, they can help you. We'll figure out exactly what's going on with you, but they have treatments for much more than just low testosterone. Also, ED treatments, other performance issues, also some augmentations, if you wanted to put it that way, they can help you out with. Or it could be you just want to up your game in terms of general life, quality of life, energy levels. They're now offering peptide subscriptions, in particular NAD Plus and Samorelin, both great. But you need to sit down, have a consultation with them instead of going online and buying from some chatbot. Instead, you can do an in-person consultation while having this subscription that you pick up monthly. NAD Plus, great for mental focus and energy. And of course, Samorelin, great for upping your natural human growth hormone production. So it's very helpful in regards to the gym and losing weight, building muscle. So they've got all sorts of stuff going on there at Montgomery Men's Health. They've been helping out men for years now, Montgomery and the surrounding areas. It's Montgomery Men's Health, powered by Men's Pro. Get by, make an appointment today. I know there are a lot of guys that wait and say, I don't need a doctor. I guess that's part of being a man. You never admit to any issue. Well, discretion's the word over there, and they can help you in a discreet way. Call them. Make an appointment at 440-3663. That's 440-3663, or book online in under 30 seconds at MontgomeryMen'sHealth.com. That's Montgomery Men's Health, for every man in every season of life. Now, I mentioned this before the top of the hour break, but there's a guy named Ray Kurzweil. I guess he worked for Google forever, predicted AI. I remember him talking years ago with Glenn Beck about the singularity and all this stuff. And here in this little clip, he's going to predict that by 2032, aging will be over. Aging will be kaput. We'll never get old, honey. We'll never get old. Now, I want to know the details of this deal here. Like, I got to sign in blood or something. But let's listen into Kurzweil.
Really anticipate. I mean, I'm 78 years old. Yes. And I'm in good shape, but in 6 years, we'll reach longevity escape velocity.
Oh, so it is 6 years. So explain to people what that means.
So 2032.
And he's talking, I guess, to Tony Robbins, who's that guy has a certain aura and energy about him that is hard to deny.
So right now, you go through a year. Yeah. and use up a year of your longevity.
Yes.
However, we're coming up with new cures, new treatments, and you actually get, if you're diligent, which I'm sure you are, and most of the listeners here are, but not everybody is, but if you're diligent, you get back, well, last year I was saying about 4 months. Let's say it's probably about 5 months. So you're getting back 5 months, so you lose about 7 months.
Out of a year. So you're saying longevity velocity, escape velocity is when we get to the point where every year you get a year back.
You get back a full year.
And the people like David Sinclair, Dr. Sinclair has been working on this. He's got, as you know, he's got mice being able to see again after they've lost the nerves in their eyes. He's doing the first tests on humans now.
There's lots of research.
Yeah.
The biggest thing is we're going to be able to find cures by basically saying what the problems is, and the computer will actually generate the possibilities. It'll generate millions of possibilities and go through them all.
Test them.
So we're beginning to be able to do that. And then you can actually do human trials,
yes,
but using simulated humans.
Yeah.
So that's coming. That'll happen by 2030. So by 2032, we'll be able to go through all the different possibilities. So you get back at least a year. As you go past 2032, you'll actually get back more than a year. But you won't die of aging at that point. It doesn't mean you can have an accident tomorrow.
Sure.
Although we're also dealing with accidents. For example, we lose 40,000 people who die in car accidents right now from human driving. If you look at Waymo, the number of people who have passed away using Waymo, and the usage is going like this, is zero.
Yeah.
So we're going to do away with accidents largely, but anyway, the future is very good for our health.
So part of you always said is you take care of yourself to get to this point, and then there'll be tools and technology to keep you alive for a very, very long time, and hopefully a very long time, and helping your memory too, because Alzheimer's obviously is rampant in the world today. But tell us about your numbers.
I have a pancreas.
Yes.
It's actually external. This
really?
Generates insulin, and then I measure glucose here.
Yes.
And it's
coordinated
by my phone.
Yeah.
And it's actually like a real pancreas. And we can actually do that with a lot of our organs. So anyway, there's a lot of things happening.
Wow.
And so that's one of the things I try.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, curing a lot of diseases and having a lot of treatments for a lot of stuff is great. But it's more the underlying desire I worry about of wanting to live forever. Like the fountain of youth idea. I don't know. How far are you going to go to do that? Anyway, let's go to line one. You're on there. Who's this?
Hey, this is East of the Rockies.
Hey, East, how are you?
I'm all right. I kind of tuned in late on this guy, so somehow they're going to suspend the second law of thermodynamics, and people are going to stop aging, huh?
Right.
Right, that's great. You know, I've often thought that the law of gravity
really anticipate
suspended if enough people voted against it, you know.
Right.
So we could all float around and flap our arms and fly.
You know, there's this thing called I believe the medicine of immortality in the Christian tradition. I believe it's like the Eucharist, but I think that's different from what he's talking about. Or something like that.
Yeah, new heaven, new earth.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
I'll go for that. You know, I don't want some pencil neck guy with a pocket protector telling me what to do like that. You know,
there's definitely going to be upside, and like I do celebrate. Like when you see, like, okay, somebody who's been blind can now see. That's pretty awesome.
Oh yeah.
Like curing all sorts of cancers, like being able to stop cancers in their tracks. That would be amazing. Like I think all that's great.
Hey, don't I know it?
Oh, amen. But like there's also, I don't know, because you've gone through that sort of trial, there's a problem with grasping, right? Like you want to do your best, you want to survive, you want to live, but there's a problem with like grasping to life to where we become almost inhuman. I guess where I'm coming.
Yeah, but I don't want that. I don't want life to be like the mummy. You know, I'll be coming up out of the grave and chasing around archaeologists.
And Brendan Fraser whoops you somehow.
Yeah, he's got a 12 gauge. What do you want? All right, Kat. You have a great day.
Appreciate you, East. We got to hit another break here. We'll be right back after this.
Want to carry News Talk in your pocket? Download the News Talk 93.1 app from the App Store. Available on iPhone and Android. Never miss a moment. Download now.
Hi, this is Bo Goodson from the Goodson Group with your Real Estate Minute. 5 reasons to get a home inspection before you close on a home. Homeowners buying their first home or their 10th home still need a home inspection performed. First, you will find out firsthand the true condition of the home, the age and state of the heating and air, the roof, electrical, and plumbing as of the date of inspection. Second, it may give you the ability to renegotiate repairs that the seller will end up paying for before closing. Third, if the results show that the repairs would be too costly, then you can opt out of the contract without losing your earnest money. Fourth, the age and state of the systems will indicate what shape the rest of the house might be in and give you the option to opt out of the transaction or renegotiate terms. Fifth, knowing what needs to be done to the house will allow you the opportunity to update the home properly to your taste. For a list of the best home inspectors in the area, call Bo Goodson at the Goodson Group at 334-221-2883 or 551-0225. The Goodson Group.
For too long, Alabama's statewide news companies have shamed us for our conservative Christian values. Alabama deserves a news company that cherishes our culture, a company that isn't bought and paid for by the powers that be. 1819 News is that company. Run by Alabamians for Alabamians, 1819 News celebrates what is good and beautiful about our state, while exposing those who work against our values in secret. Just go to 1819news.com to learn more. Subscribe to our newsletter. That's 1819news.com. This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number 1 in the number 2 business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
E-Bike Oasis, E-Bike Oasis, E-Bike Oasis, ride for free. E-Bike Oasis, E-Bike Oasis, E-Bike Oasis, ride for free.
At E-Bike Oasis, we're more than just Montgomery's best electric bicycle store. E-Bike Oasis offers free 1-hour electric bicycle rentals and a full-service electric bike repair shop. Stop by E-Bike Oasis in Montgomery today for free rentals, repairs, and electric bicycle brands in town.
This is your roving reporter. Today I'm talking with a man from outer space.
What's up, Earthling?
I see you've landed your spacecraft over there in that field.
That's right, man.
My question is, why have you landed here on our planet?
I came to see David Ernest.
The asset preservationist?
Yeah, man. I wanted to see if he would take a look at my portfolio for me.
Well, before you make the trip over there, call him on his toll-free number, 833-596-7233.
And I understand those last 4 digits spell out the word safe.
That is correct.
Funny thing happened the last time I came to Earth.
What was that?
I went to the Walmart, man.
Yes?
And I accidentally went in the back door.
How did that work out?
Well, they stopped me and very gently told me that I needed to go around front and come in.
And then what did you do?
I said, cool, man. Take me to your greeter.
You flew millions of miles just for that.
Hey, man, I don't ride them. I just read them.
Rich Thomas Weather, a service of Riverside Chevrolet Wetumpka. If it's Chevy, it's Riverside. Best price, best selection. Check them out on the web at riversideusa.net.
Well, hi, everybody. We have a tornado watch that continues in effect. Also, a flood watch continues through Friday. Periods of rain and thunderstorms with the threat of some excessive rainfall totals through tonight and much of the day Friday, too. And the risk of tropical spin-up tornadoes as well. And our weather app will keep you on top of the action with instant push notifications. It's free in the App Store. Just search Rich Thomas Weather. High today, 81. Low tonight, 73. High tomorrow on Juneteenth in the mid-80s. From the Blue Water Weather Center, this is Rich Thomas.
Big dreams for your home on a tight budget? AFE's $26.26 as you covered. Unlock your home's equity with just $26 in closing costs. No fees, no headaches. Visit your local ASE branch today. Federally insured by NCUA, Equal Housing Lender. NMLS number 420259.
News happens, you'll hear about it first. The River Region's most trusted voice. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Welcome back. I'm your host, Joey Clark. Another message out from Trump today saying the United States is committed to peace. Peace is in all caps. And we encourage everyone in the Middle East region to maintain their commitment to allowing our negotiations to beautifully unfold. The markets are loving what is happening with oil prices way down and stocks way up. We expect a complete ceasefire on all fronts, including Lebanon, Hezbollah, and Israel. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. And here is Coach, still United States Senator Tommy Tuberville, who'll soon be governor of the great state of Alabama before you know it. And so many people are going to love that, and there's going to be a minority of folks here in this state that can't stand it. A football coach, what does he know? Like, you try running a football team. Anyway, here is Coach Tuberville defending the president on this deal.
Of course, we've heard the president on TV from Europe, but we've also talked to Vice President Vance, and there will be no money given whatsoever. There won't even be sanctions given until they make sure that they do the right thing when it comes to the uranium. So I don't think we have to worry about that. I think President Trump's adamant that, we've given way too much money away overseas. At Ukraine, $350 billion. American taxpayers, Larry, they can't afford it. We're dead broke up here. So we got to make sure if we're going to spend any money, we spend it the right way, and it surely doesn't need to be in Iran.
Well, I pray that you're right, sir. I mean, and that's a great, and you're right. The president and the vice president have said that. The trouble is I keep reading these 14 points, the latest one from the New York Post, and it's got all this stuff in it. In the next 60 days, we're suspending sanctions, and we're putting together this fund. Now, maybe this is not the right language. That's a possibility. We don't have the right language because they have to prove to us, do they not, that their behavior is changing. And, of course, they have a terrible track record.
Well, they don't have a track record. They're awful. They're batting 1,000% aligned to us every time they do some kind of deal. But I trust President Trump. I trust Vice President Vance. We don't need to listen to anybody up here on Capitol Hill. Let's trust these two. They've been at this now since they've been in office. We're fortunate that our first strike was a perfect strike on about 50 to 55 of their leaders, Larry. And at the end of the day, it's the only time in your and my lifetime that we've had this opportunity. So let's take advantage of it and let's put the pressure on them. And again, like he said, all heck will break loose if they break this treaty.
So Coach giving a solid defense there. No, and I find myself in the same position. I trust the folks the folks who is actually running the show, who actually have to make these decisions, put their name on the bottom of the page in the case of the president, and sell this to the American people with a lot at stake doing that, J.D. Vance. So we'll see it play out. I'm not too worried about the president screwing up here. And in many ways, I think the president is pretty pragmatic about this stuff. I mean, he said it the other day. It's kind of matter of fact the way he said it, the way he's delivering this. It's not even that triumphant. It's like, well, if they screw us, we'll screw them back.
If it doesn't get done in 60 days, that's all right. We go back to bombing. I don't want to do that. But, we might have to. Because we're never going to let them have a nuclear weapon. But Israel would have been terminated. I think the whole Middle East would have been terminated. You saw that when everybody was shocked that all these missiles, they were aimed at these different places. They were going to take out the entire Middle East, including Israel. And if they had a nuclear weapon, they would have used it within moments after getting it. If it doesn't get...
So what's that beginning in? If it doesn't get done?
If it doesn't get done in 60 days, that's all right. We go back to bombing.
Yeah. And yet the folks who are the most hawkish are still upset with this. Yeah. Just trust the president. I mean, unless you're a Democrat and you don't trust a thing that liar says, and that two-faced J.D. Vance and that suck-up Marco Rubio, he knows better. But, I mean, if you feel that way, cool. But if you are open to the details on this, I think the team is heading in the right direction. 272-9228. That's 334-272-9228. Oh, I have to get into this. I just saw the headline this morning, and I'm like, oh, man, I wish Eddie was here today. But this is out of Washington. The Supreme Court's been putting out decisions all day. So the Supreme Court today, Thursday, ruled in favor, the Supreme Court ruled in favor of a Texas man who challenged a federal law that bars certain drug users from having firearms. In a unanimous decision in the case U.S. v. Khamenei, the justices found that Ali Khamenei's prosecution for having a firearm while he was an unlawful drug user is inconsistent with the Second Amendment. Wow. Khamenei allegedly was only an occasional user of marijuana when the FBI found a handgun at his Texas home in 2022. The ruling from the Supreme Court is narrow since the justices did not strike down the law at the center of the case in its entirety. Instead, the High Court said the government cannot automatically disarm a person who uses marijuana a few times a week. Hear, hear. Justice Neil Gorsuch authored the majority opinion for the court. The government, Gorsuch wrote, quote, asks us to conclude that anyone who regularly uses marijuana is categorically violent and dangerous without any further showing, all based on little more than its current say-so, one at odds with its own regulatory actions, and affording the government that kind of broad power to designate any group as dangerous and thereby disqualify its members from having a gun would risk allowing it to quickly swallow the Second Amendment. The Supreme Court's decision does not... Yeah, well, actually, he's making a fantastic point there real quick. If this really was something that could be used in an effective and broad way, now this might just be particular to Texas and particular law there, but, you know, the left, how long have they wanted to ban all sorts of firearms? How quickly would they start labeling people drug users? Not just on marijuana, but like anything under the sun. Like, they will take whatever angle they can get to exploit. So I like that Gorsuch is like, no, you can't give the government the unilateral power to classify people in a certain class where you can be disarmed without, you know, actual evidence. There are going to be certain classes, like, you know, violent felons and the criminally insane and like, and just insane people as well. Like, there's plenty of areas where it's like, yeah, maybe that person should have a gun, but you should be able to have robust proof of that. If you can just label somebody crazy, which I could easily be labeled crazy. I might even cop to it. Yeah, I'm insane. But, no, I think this is heading in the right direction. Apparently, the Supreme Court's decision does not address efforts to ban drug addicts or those presently intoxicated from having firearms, Gorsuch wrote. Right, so if you, like, are constantly smoking that caviar, that crack cocaine, you cannot have a firearm. Makes sense. If you are always drinking the liquor, now this seems to be, I'm sorry, that seems to be a little bit at odds with the founding generation. A lot of them were drinking the liquor. A lot of liquor. But drug addicts or those presently intoxicated from having firearms, that the court didn't touch that. Of course, it's also said he does not impact other federal firearms restrictions, including those that disarm convicted felons or prosecutions that involve proof that a defendant's drug use renders him dangerous. Right. You smoke a little meth, and all of a sudden, you suspect everybody and everything in your own existence. Like, perhaps you shouldn't have a firearm. The law at issue in the case forbids an unlawful drug user from possessing a firearm, and violators face up to 15 years in prison. Damn. The Justice Department estimates roughly 300 people are charged with the offense every year. Perhaps the most high-profile person convicted under the law was Hunter Biden, former President Biden's son, though he was pardoned by his father in December 2024. It's good having Daddy as president. The law at the center of the case was the latest to face Supreme Court scrutiny in the wake of its landmark 2022 decision that recognized the right to carry a firearm outside the home. In that decision, the High Court laid out a new test for courts to apply when considering the constitution of a gun law. The framework requires the government to show that a restriction is consistent with the nation's historical tradition of firearms regulation. In the wake of that ruling, the Supreme Court upheld in 2024 a federal law barring people subject to domestic violence restraining orders from having guns. The justices are also considering a challenge to a Hawaii law that prohibits people with concealed carry permits from bringing their guns onto private property open to the public without permission. Now, that one actually, the law prohibits people with concealed carry permits from bringing their guns onto private property open to the public without permission. Yeah, that one, that'd be interesting to see the actual details of that case and what that'll actually come down to. But the government's case against Khamenei focused solely on his marijuana use, which his lawyers said did not make him dangerous. 40 states have legalized marijuana use to some degree in recent years, adding a wrinkle to the legal battle. While cannabis remains illegal at the federal level, President Trump signed an executive order in December to reschedule marijuana to a lower drug classification. The Justice Department in April reclassified certain marijuana products as less dangerous drugs. Gorsuch, in the majority opinion, and Justice Samuel Alito, in a concurring opinion, joined by Justice Elena Kagan, both noted the shifts in marijuana policy at the federal and state levels, as well as the rise in marijuana consumption, and said those trends worked against the Justice Department in this case. Whatever one thinks of these developments, the federal government has not just tolerated them, they don't fuel them, Gorsuch wrote, all of which leaves it awkwardly positioned to suggest that millions of Americans who now regularly use marijuana are categorically and unusually dangerous. Yeah, which is just common sense basis. They're not. While the president has taken steps to bolster Second Amendment rights, the Trump administration also defended the ban on possession by drug users before the Supreme Court had urged it to uphold the restriction. So there's a lot of, that's an interesting case. Caught my eye, at least. Hey, this part of the program brought to you by Dylan Rings, and they're at Dylan Rings. Josh and Leslie Ryder, ready to help you with any and all of your jewelry needs. Could be you want to get something brand new, just because. You want to look nice with something brand new, just because. Or it could be you want to fix something up. Maybe you wear a piece of jewelry all the time. It looks like you wear it every day and have for years. What if it could shine and shimmer like it's brand new again? They can do that with a spa treatment there at Dylan Rings. Could be something's loose, gemstones rattling around. Something just broke straight up. Well, they can do repair work there at Dylan Rings. In fact, there are a lot of other jewelers in town that send repair work over to Josh. And maybe you want to make something custom design. In fact, this thing hanging around my neck, by this thing, I mean a Sacred Heart of Jesus, Josh made it for me. It was some rose gold and red enamel, and he just did a beautiful job with it. And from going through that process, Josh is so easy to work with. True artist. And, well, he can bring to life whatever your imagination might work up in terms of jewelry. So check him out today. Just stop by Dylan Rings, 119 Brown Springs Road here in Montgomery, just off of Atlanta Highway. And be sure to tell him that Joey, that fella on the radio, sent you.
He may not know whether he's coming or going, but whether you're going to work or coming home, Greg Budell is there. Mornings, 6 till 9, and afternoons, 3 till 6. Only on News Talk 93.1 FM, WACV.
Hey, y'all. It's Rooster with Rooster's Muffler Moore in Prattville. Ever since I've been advertising with Blue Water Broadcasting, my parking lot's been full. Y'all come see me right here at Rooster's Muffler and More on South Memorial Drive in Prattville.
Our advertisers are our biggest advocates. Call us to find out how radio can increase your bottom line. Blue Water Broadcasting. Local folks helping local business.
Hi, I'm Carl Schmidt, naturopath and owner of the Herb Shop Wellness Center at 8161 Vaughan Road. You know, with over 30 years experience in natural wellness, I've seen countless health fads come and go. A few years ago, we added a patented technology that actually activates your stem cells. It reverses the aging process at the cellular level. However, you do need proper hydration and targeted nutrition. At the Herb Shop, our advanced scanning and testing technology allows us to accurately assess your nutritional needs and get a customized plan for you. Come in today and see what the Herb Shop can do for you.
This hour of News and Views is brought to you by our good friends at Cole Plumbing, 279-8919. Cole Plumbing is number one in the number two business. You don't have to dig a hole. They have proprietary pipelining technology. Ask them about their tankless water heaters. Remember, when you have trouble with your bowl, call on Cole.
The premier place the River Region turns to for news, weather, traffic, and opinion. News Talk 93.1 FM WACV.
Joey Clark.
Welcome back. Let's go to the phones and talk to Ray Bowles with Prattville Carpet. Hey, Ray, how you doing?
Well, I'm doing about 5 miles an hour in Atlanta.
Oh, no. What's going on?
It's Atlanta. It's this way every time you go, and especially with the World Cup being here. I see. There's a wreck in front of me, and all the lanes are clogged up. That's what it is. 285. You got to love 285.
Yeah, I've been there. I know. Oh, I know what you're talking about. Especially you said a U-Haul?
U-Haul. Oh, yeah. The big U-Haul. That makes it even worse because it's not like you can weave in and out of lanes.
Right. Zip around.
Pick one and you just go with it. Yeah. I'm more of an 80-mile-an-hour type of person.
Mm-hmm.
This 4 miles, 5 miles an hour is killing me. But everybody else is at the office. So if you need a floor, they're waiting on you to call. 285-8117. We've got all kind of great prices. They'll come out 80 miles an hour to you, get you measured real fast. Boom, next thing you know, got a floor down. Just that easy.
Again, that's 285-8117. And be sure to tell them you heard Ray Bowles on the radio stuck in Atlanta traffic.
It's a good thing I love heavy. This is what you do for your grandbabies.
Yep. Well,
all right. Well,
safe,
be praying
man.
for me. I got a long way to go.
Yeah.
We'll see y'all
later. Again, y'all check out Prattville Carpet today. So, wow. I'm now seeing the news. Major Capers. Major James Capers Jr. finally being awarded the Medal of Honor. That is happening soon, this very afternoon. I had forgotten this was the day. I appreciate Troy Carrico putting in touch the show with Major Capers, us having him on. And amazing American, true patriot. And to see that he finally, after, being lost in the bureaucratic shuffle, is getting the honor that he deserves is beautiful to see. Happy to have a small part in this windup. And I know there are a lot of big voices that were pushing for this, and it's very cool to see that get done for that gentleman, that true American patriot and soldier. Anyway, I think Greg Budell's stuck outside in the deluge. We got a gully washer, finally. Just when I got to leave. I thought it was going to hit earlier, folks. But I think it's coming now. It's definitely coming now. And, there is still tornado watch, I believe, flood watch. And in certain parts, you better be careful. Like I'm looking at a live shot of Biloxi, Mississippi. Woo! It's coming down, baby, near the coast. You got to wonder about the southern part of Alabama, especially. It looks like we're just above the highest flood risk. But I'm sure there are going to be updates from the man himself, Rich Thomas, on Happy Hour, because I thought this was going to happen earlier, but it's coming in now. It's going to be a long, rainy, wet night. If you go order delivery pizza or something, tip your drivers well. Anyway, I'm going to get out of here. Give the reins over to Greg. He's next.
Broadcasting from the Riverside Chevrolet Master Control Center, this is WACV Coosa.